There is no medicine for regret in this world for us sisters, is there? Young and naive, the arrogant princess humiliated the young eunuch. Yet 6 years later, she was betrothed to him, a commander of the Eastern Depot. One really shouldn't sow bad karma if they want a peaceful life. The weather today is luckily extremely clear. It has been a long time since the imperial court enjoyed such fresh air after a long period of rain. Even the Grand Princess of Daegu herself felt comfortable, but she had no idea that disaster was about to strike her head very soon. Briefly speaking about the Grand Princess of Daegu, her name is Xiao Chongning, and she was the first princess born in this dynasty. Since childhood, she was loved and pampered by everyone around her. But ever since her mother passed away, everything around her seemed to change from how it used to be, including the events taking place today. Ning looked at the eunuch in front of her and shouted angrily, "Why have you been following me all this time? Get lost before I summon 10 guards. You won't have a way to live then." But contrary to the princess's angry demeanor, the maid beside her gently explained, "Princess, please don't be so angry. Actually, the person in front of you is named Shin-Chi. He was sent by the Directorate of Ceremonial to run errands for you. Please don't shout so loudly. It will affect the atmosphere of the court." Ning really couldn't understand at this moment. She asked back in confusion, "The Directorate of Ceremonial? If he didn't commit any mistake, why would the Directorate of Ceremonial send him here to run errands for me? The more this is mentioned, the more I can't forget what happened in the past with my mother consort. If the eunuchs didn't hold power, my mother consort wouldn't have been harmed so unjustly. Enough! Have someone send him to the Easter Depot. What I hate most is this kind of sissy who bewitches their master like him. If I keep harboring him in my palace, it will definitely pollute the atmosphere. It's best to send him as far away as possible." The eunuch kneeling on the ground hadn't said a word this whole time. Only when he heard the Princess Royal despise him so much did he look at her with eyes that couldn't be colder. Perhaps that look stemmed from an injustice that even Ning couldn't know about. While Ning was feeling terrified to the extreme by that sharp, cold gaze of Shin-Chi, she suddenly startled awake. So, everything from earlier until now was just a dream. She reassured herself and said softly, "My God, I can't believe it's been 6 years and I still dream of him. It truly is a horrifying obsession I can't forget. From the day Father Emperor and Mother Consort passed away, and then Empress Dowager Liang took power until now, I keep dreaming of that look. It's as if it really wants to swallow me whole. The more I think about it, the more haunted I feel. The imperial court today is no longer as prosperous as before. Since the day Empress Dowager Liang took power, all authority has been in her hands. Even the emperor running the country now is controlled by her. My 2 siblings find even surviving extremely difficult. Fortunately, although I don't have Empress Dowager Liang's favor, I've still been able to live in the palace until now, which can be considered good fortune. But anyway, let's quickly forget that dream. I have many things to do today. If I keep thinking about it, I surely won't be able to get anything done." As she spoke, Ning repeatedly patted her face hard to wake herself up. But before she could fully wake up, a servant quickly approached and spoke softly. "Princess, Empress Dowager Liang summons you." Usually, the Empress Dowager summoning her urgently like this wasn't anything too serious. But perhaps this summons was one of the most special ones. Even she couldn't believe her own ears. In the palace full of warmth, Ning suddenly shouted, attracting the attention of everyone present. "What? Who did you say I have to marry?" Facing Ning's panicked attitude, the Empress Dowager just smiled gently and replied, "Who else? It is Shun Xian, whom you scolded as a sissy and chased out 6 years ago. Today, I officially announced that you must marry him." The eunuch from that year? Wasn't his name Shun-Chi? Why is it Shun Xian now? Before Empress Dowager Liang could speak, the Daegu Emperor sitting next to her quickly answered Ning, "Sister, it is him." Commander Shin also said that if you don't agree to marry him, he will officially depose me to set up a new king. Commander? Ning really couldn't believe her ears at this moment. So the commander of the Eastern Depot everyone had been talking about all this time was actually him. It was truly unacceptable. The more she thought about this, the more Ning couldn't accept it. She immediately knelt on the ground and shouted, "But how can a princess royal marry a eunuch? Will the court officials agree? Will the ancestors of the Shao family in the imperial mausoleum agree?" At this moment, Ning used all the strength of a woman. She could only pretend to cry miserably to seek whatever little pity remained from Empress Dowager Leon. You are really bullying me. My biological mother died early when I was small. I truly have no support, and now you treat me like this. It is truly unacceptable. Moreover, I previously humiliated him very badly in front of everyone. The commander of the Eastern Depot is known by everyone to have a sinister heart. If I marry him, he will definitely take revenge on me for the past to vent his anger. What will I do then, Empress Dowager? Empress Dowager, if you cannot withdraw this decree, I would rather commit suicide to preserve my honor. It was thought that with her pitiful attitude, the Empress Dowager would reconsider, but she just smiled and said, Ning, even if you commit suicide, that corpse will still have to wear the wedding dress and be carried into the Shun family tomb. I know you are a very intelligent person. You understand that a wise person submits to the circumstances to be considered talented. Besides, you were the one who caused the trouble back then. Shouldn't you accept the consequences now? Ning, if you don't agree to marry Shun Xian today, I'm afraid the future of this land will bear the surname Shun. But if you agree to marry him, not only will you remain a princess, but you will also be the commander's wife. How would he dare touch you? But in reality, up until now, Ning still couldn't understand. What could a small woman like her possibly change? She couldn't fight against him. The Empress Dowager smiled benevolently and replied, Of course you can. You can do things you never expected. Help Aijia and the Emperor take Shun Xian's life. Everything will be much easier then. So, after a round of persuasion with all her heart, Ning still couldn't change anything. In the end, she still had to marry that eunuch as requested by the Empress Dowager. Otherwise, she had no other choice. After a period of tormenting herself, the day finally arrived, the day she had to get on the bridal sedan chair to marry that Shen Xian. Not only did Ning feel indignant, but even the people standing on both sides of the road watching the wedding felt the same. A citizen standing nearby spoke up in frustration, truly pitiful for the Princess Royal. A girl loved by the Emperor, yet in the end, she has to marry such a eunuch. It is indeed extremely pitiful. True, it really is pitiful for the princess, but we shouldn't discuss this too deeply. If the commander hears it, our lives will be gone. It's best not to speak anymore. Actually, the distance from the palace to the commander's place wasn't far. The sedan chair had barely started when it arrived in no time. Although the servants outside announced to Ning that it was time to get off the sedan chair, she seemed unable to accept the truth, knowing that the commander was standing in front of the sedan chair to welcome her. Even if given money, she wouldn't dare to get down. So she just sat in the sedan chair like that. After waiting for a long time and not seeing her come down, Shan Xian growled, looking annoyed. Does the Princess Royal want to step down herself, or shall this commander personally invite you down? What do you want, Princess Ning? Well, she couldn't sit in the sedan chair forever anyway. Besides, if she sat too long and Shan Xian got angry, what if he took her life? After thinking it through, she decided she would still go down to protect her life. After all, her life was more important. She thought that just by obediently getting off the sedan chair, her life would be stable. But no, things were not that simple. Just as Ning stepped down from the sedan chair, Shun Xian's beloved dog pounced, scaring her out of her wits. In her panic, she didn't know what to do. So she just hugged Shun Xian tightly to alleviate her fear. But it seemed this shock wasn't enough for her. Soon after, a servant from the manor came to report. Commander, the prisoner refuses to confess. How should we handle this? Shun Xian didn't need much time to think. He just took one look and immediately ordered incineration, causing Ning's limbs to go weak. Perhaps the shock was too great, so she fainted right after that. Never could she have imagined that she would encounter such a cruel terrorist in her life. It seemed like Ning really fainted from fear, but no, it was just that she was startled and accidentally fell backward. But it was okay. It was actually very lucky. After all, if she fainted like this, she wouldn't have to look at Shan Xian's fierce eyes. So, even though pretending to faint was uncomfortable, it was fine. She could endure it as long as she didn't have to talk to Shun Xian. She could accept anything. Although Ning had fainted there, Shun Xian had no intention of letting her off. He repeatedly pressed his hand on Ning's philtrum with the hope of helping her wake up. Honestly, Ning's inner self was screaming at this moment. She was human, not stone. Of course she felt pain. But since she was acting, she had to play the role to the end. If she woke up now, she would be nothing but a laughingstock for the world. So, although it hurt a lot, she had no intention of waking up and just lay there enduring it. Shun Xian was inherently a very smart person. Just a glance was enough. How could the person in front of him deceive him about whether she was pretending or not? So, even though Ning was pretending to faint, it didn't matter. Shun Xian still ordered the consummation regardless of whether Ning had fainted or not. Immediately after, Ning was carried into Shun Xian's room by the servants. Before leaving, the servants worriedly asked Shun Xian again, "Commander, do you need us to call a physician? The commander's wife doesn't look very well. Can you take care of the madam yourself?" But ignoring the servant's concern for his wife, Shun Xian shook his head in disagreement and continued, "It's fine. I can take care of my wife myself. I don't need you. I will notify you when needed. You may withdraw now." Waiting for all the servants to withdraw. At this moment, Shun Xian slowly went to fetch a large basin of water, then entered the room where Ning was lying, scaring the wits out of her. What is this guy doing? He fetched such a large basin of water. Could it be that he wants to help wipe my face to wake me up? Is he actually that kind to me? However, as Shun Xian approached closer and closer, Ning began to feel rather unsafe. Holding such a large basin of water, could it be that he sees me as a prisoner needing interrogation? Usually, when interrogating prisoners, they splash a basin of cold water to wake them up. Is he going to do the same to me? But Shun Xian was not as cruel as Ning imagined. He simply quietly wrung out a small towel and threw it straight onto Ning's face. At first, she was a bit startled, but she decided to lie still. After all, a towel is much better than a basin of cold water. However, after a while of having the towel cover her entire face, she could no longer breathe, so she decided to sit up. She looked at Shun Xian with eyes that couldn't be angrier, secretly cursing that he definitely did it on purpose to provoke her. After a moment of anger, Ning calmed down. She looked around the room and thought to herself, "His room is so clean and tidy. Looking around, it's not that bad. But I heard that those with incomplete bodies are very eccentric, especially eunuchs. Oh my God, the more I think about it, the more scared I feel. Is Shun Xian like that? But if he really is like that, just send me off with one stroke of the blade. Don't torture me like this. This palace has suffered enough already." However, contrary to Ning's fears, Shun Xian just looked at her gently and said, "You must be very hungry. The kitchen prepared some porridge for you to line your stomach. Although I know you are tired, you should eat a little to regain your strength." Hearing this, Ning's limbs went weak. How could she swallow it? Who knows if this rotten guy put something in her porridge? If he still holds a grudge against her for what happened years ago, he would certainly find a way to take revenge immediately. So, even though she felt very hungry, she still firmly replied, "No, I don't want to eat at all. I don't feel hungry." Well, if she didn't want the porridge, Shun Xian wouldn't force her. But today is the wedding night. How can we not drink the nuptial wine? So, although she knew very well that this Shun Xian could take revenge on her at any time, be it with a blade, a sword, or even the cup of wine in front of her, but she didn't know what else to do. After all, she had already become his wife. If he wanted to take her life, she would have to willingly give it to him. Looking at the cup of wine in front of her, Ning remained unsure of what to do. Although she wasn't sure if the wine before her was poisoned or not, she still hesitated and didn't dare to drink. Who would want to bring such bad luck upon themselves? Seeing Ning's hesitation, Shun Xian just laughed out loud and replied, "What? You don't dare to drink the wine in front of you? I didn't put poison in it, so what are you afraid of? Fine, let me drink first to prove it to you. If I try it, you could be reassured, right?" Saying that, Shun Xian drained the cup of wine in front of him. It seemed just as he said, this wine really wasn't poisoned. Well, there was nothing left to object to, so Ning could only drink the cup of wine in her hand. But before Ning could drink her wine, Shun Xian quickly intervened to stop her. "Wait, your stomach is empty right now. How dare you drink wine? It will be very harmful to your stomach." But since Ning didn't want to eat anyway, she just went ahead and drained the cup of wine in her hand. However, she probably didn't expect one thing. This thing called wine was much spicier and more bitter than she knew. Just after taking a small sip, she couldn't stand it and spat it all out. Seeing Ning in this state, Shun Xian gently said, "I told you beforehand. Your stomach has nothing in it, yet you still drink wine. The spiciness in the wine will make your stomach feel extremely uncomfortable. Well, if you don't want to eat porridge, I won't force you. However, I naturally do not like mournful things, nor do I like wearing white on the wedding night. So I must trouble the Princess Royal to remove those things for me." Hearing this, Ning was a bit unwilling, although she knew she was already this eunuch's wife. Forcing her to remove her clothes in front of him was something she still couldn't accept. While Ning was still hesitating, not knowing what to do, Shen Xian suddenly made a move that startled her. Ignoring Ning sitting in front of him, Shen Xian immediately took off his shirt. As he undressed, he said, "All right, if you won't take yours off, then I'll take mine off. Are you satisfied now?" Ning was extremely panicked at this moment. Oh my god, this crazy guy suddenly stripping in front of a woman like that. Does he have no shame? However, contrary to her thoughts, Shan Xian only took off his outer robe to wash his hands. He had no other intention. After washing his hands, Shen Xian moved to sit on the bed. Honestly, at this moment, Ning felt extremely nervous, not knowing what this crazy eunuch would do next. After sitting on the bed, Shan Xian continued, "It seems Princess Ning here doesn't like eunuchs very much, does she? That year, you even told me that I was a sissy using base means to bewitch the master. So tonight, why don't you test and see whether I'm actually a sissy or not?" As he spoke, he cornered Ning against the wall, making her so nervous she couldn't breathe. She couldn't believe that even though it happened 6 years ago, he still remembered it now. He even remembered it without missing a single word. She never expected this eunuch to hold a grudge for so long. Seeing the eunuch getting closer and closer to her, Ning was in a panic but didn't know what to do. She only knew how to wave her hands to drive Shan Xian away, continuously saying, "Back, back off." Suddenly, in the most urgent moment, Ning's empty stomach growled, causing the tense atmosphere to be abruptly broken. Shan Xian originally just wanted to tease Ning a little, but with her unstable condition like this, perhaps things couldn't continue. He immediately went out and ordered someone to cook a bowl of hot chicken soup for Ning. Then he brought it right to her for her to drink, as that was the only way to salvage her empty stomach a little, although she didn't want to drink it at all. Faced with Shan Xian's devil-like gaze, Ning had no choice but to drink the chicken soup. Although she tried very hard, she still couldn't finish it. It was truly distressing for Ning. After seeing that Ning's starving stomach was finally filled with chicken soup, Shan Xian actually felt very happy in his heart. He quickly took off the hat on his head and said, "All right then, if you're full, let's go to sleep quickly. It's getting very late." Hearing this statement from Shen Xian, Ning felt extremely surprised. Is that all? He's not going to torment me anymore. Is he letting me off that easily? It seemed like tonight would be a terrifying night for Ning, but in the end, everything turned out so peaceful, surprising her to the point of disbelief. He intended to get into bed to sleep, but suddenly Shan Xian remembered something. Right, I almost forgot that this princess hates eunuchs. How could she agree to sleep with someone she always detests? Thinking of this, he turned to Ning and said loudly, "Actually, I know very well that the princess doesn't want to sleep with me at all. So I must rudely let your highness sleep on the footrest rug. If the princess doesn't mind, you can sleep there without having to pay attention to me." One would think that with a noble status like Ning's, she would never lower herself to lie on that dirty footrest. But unexpectedly, she would rather choose to lie on that footrest than sleep in that warm bed with Shen Xian. Honestly, at this moment, Ning felt extremely self-pitying. After all, she was a princess royal. She should be in a warm palace with servants waiting on her, not lying on a dirty footrest like this. It seemed Shan Xian also sensed Ning's feelings at this moment. Although lying with his back to the wall, he didn't forget to say this before sleeping. "Princess Royal, rest assured, my Easter Depot doesn't kill useless people. Don't worry anymore and just sleep peacefully." Ning, lying down below, felt extremely indignant upon hearing this. What does he mean? Is he implying that I am a useless person? But let it go. Keeping this life is already lucky enough. I don't expect anything more. Although she put on a brave front, how could she resist the body's natural reaction? Despite trying very hard, Ning's body still shivered from lying on the cold floor. Shen Xian couldn't bear seeing this scene. He never expected that the person who humiliated him years ago had now become his wife. And now she had to lie in the cold on the floor. It was truly pitiful. After thinking for a while, Shen Xian decided to get up and cover Ning with a thin blanket to keep her warm. Although it didn't help much, it was still better than nothing. However, Ning's stubborn and obstinate nature couldn't be shaken off even in her sleep. Although Shan Xian tried to cover her with the blanket many times, she never let it stay for more than 5 seconds. Seeing the scene before him was extremely annoying. Shan Xian frowned and grumbled. What is wrong with her? Even though she feels extremely cold, she stubbornly refuses to use the blanket I gave her. Her head is truly harder than a rock. Fine then, for cases like this, stronger measures are needed. Thinking so, he quickly approached and tied the blanket around Ning. Doing this, let's see if Ning can kick the blanket away again. The next morning, Ning still didn't know what was going on. She woke up in a state of confusion. Is it morning already? But why is there a blanket on me like this? Could it be that Shan Xian covered me? He's so nice to me, but why did he tie me up so tightly? How am I supposed to breathe? And then an extremely vague thought appeared in Ning's mind. Does he want to roast me? Only if he wanted to roast me would he tie me up so tightly. Truly an incredibly sinister person. While those thoughts had not yet left Ning's mind, the servants had already appeared peeking outside the door. It turned out that when Ning followed Shan Xian here, she was allowed to bring along a maid as part of her dowry. Later, when she entered Shan Xian's manor, she was gifted 2 more maids to serve her. So this morning there were 3 maids present in her room. Although there were 3 maids, they all shared a common thought. They were very worried about Ning, not knowing what grievances their mistress had to suffer last night. At this moment, Ning sighed wearily and said, "Actually, nothing happened to me last night. Being able to live on is lucky enough. But last night, I had to sleep on that hard footrest. My body feels so tired this morning. I can't even lift my arms." The servants were shocked hearing their mistress speak. "What? You had to sleep on that dirty footrest last night? How could he do that to you? You are a dignified princess royal. How could he treat you so cruelly?" Facing the servants' indignation, Ning could only sigh helplessly and reply, "The room only has 1 bed. If I didn't sleep on that footrest, would I have to share a bed with a eunuch? How could I accept that? All right, I have something to ask. How many rooms are there in your West Wing quarters?" "Your Highness, there are 2 rooms in total. Dong Hui and I share one, and Sister Chiu Hong has one to herself. Is something the matter, princess?" Hearing this, Ning suddenly felt very excited. She thought she'd have to sleep on that hard footrest for the rest of her life, but it was fine. Heaven still favored her. It left her a way out. After thinking it through, Ning smiled brightly and said loudly, "Great, then you all move into 1 room together to be warm and give the remaining room to me." The servants were astonished, unable to believe their ears. "What? You only just got married yesterday. Why do you want to move into a separate room now? Would Commander Shin agree to that, princess?" Seeing their mistress's gleeful appearance, the servants hesitantly continued, "We fear this won't work, princess. How could the commander agree to let you move to a separate room when you've only been married for a day? If you do that, it will cause people to gossip about unpleasant things." Ning couldn't believe that the maid who had followed her for so long dared to oppose her small request. It was truly unacceptable. She looked at the maid with an unhappy gaze and gritted her teeth. "You're quite quick, aren't you? You've only just stepped into the Eastern Depot's door, and you already know how to curry favor with its master. You don't see me as your mistress anymore, do you?" While scolding the maid in front of her, Ning silently cursed Shan Xian in her head. This Shan Xian is inherently extremely sinister. I can't predict what he'll do to me next, but for some reason, whenever I'm near him, I feel incredibly uneasy. Well, I must quickly find a way to stay as far away from him as possible. Only then will my person be safe. Anyway, I didn't eat anything all day yesterday, only managed a few sips of chicken soup under duress. So now I feel hungry again. One cannot think well on an empty stomach. I must be full before I can figure out how to deal with that eunuch. Fear shouldn't mean neglecting myself. So, after a day of not eating, Ning could finally fill her stomach today. While she was enjoying the delicious dishes on the table, a person approached and introduced himself. "Lin Huan greets Madam Commander. I was ordered by the commander to come and ask if the food suits your taste." Ning was originally in a good mood from the good food, but it was quickly ruined by this unpleasant fellow. Hearing that hateful name, Ning gritted her teeth and replied with annoyance, "Thanks to Commander Shun's blessings, no matter how many delicacies I eat, I feel the same. To me, These things have no taste at all. Ning was originally in a good mood from the good food, but it was quickly ruined by this unpleasant fellow. Hearing that hateful name, Ning gritted her teeth and replied with annoyance. Thanks to Commander Shin's blessings, no matter how many delicacies I eat, I feel the same. To me, these things have no taste at all. Hearing this, Lin Huan was a bit confused. He looked blank and replied, Forgive this subordinate for speaking bluntly, but I have never attended school, so when I hear you speak like that, I really don't understand anything. Do you mean the food is very delicious? Fine, forget it. I don't want to talk about this anymore, Ning replied. But where did your commander go today? I didn't see him when I woke up. Reporting to Madam, the commander is in the council room discussing matters. So he told this servant to take Madam for a walk around the depot to get used to the new environment. Hearing this, Ning felt overjoyed. Oh my, he's not here today? Then why should I be afraid of these people? Immediately, Ning sat up straight, posing as a princess, and said loudly, I do not like to go for a walk, nor do I like to get acquainted with anyone. Don't you dare have any opinions. Furthermore, I am not some madam. By right, you must address me as Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal. Lin Huan didn't know what to do. He couldn't understand why the madam was so annoyed when he only offered to take her for a walk. Then he suddenly remembered the commander's instructions. All right, the commander told me that if madam doesn't follow orders, I can freely take action. Immediately, Lin Huan intended to draw the sword at his side to demonstrate his power to Ning. But before he even did so, just the movement of the sword on Lin Huan's body scared Ning out of her wits, causing her to drop the bowl of rice she was holding. So in the end, although reluctant, Ning still had to go for a walk with Lin Huan. Otherwise, her life would be in danger. Soon enough, Lin Huan led Ning through many places in the depot commander's quarters, happily introducing each location to her as they walked. Suddenly, he pulled 2 large steamed buns out of his pocket, which surprised Ning greatly. Seeing Lin Huan's happy and joyful eyes while eating so deliciously, Ning actually felt it was very odd. Was he that hungry? But in reality, it wasn't quite like that. Lin Huan had a difficult past, to the point where he had suffered greatly from having nothing to eat for many days. Thus, he was obsessed with starvation, so whenever there was food to eat, he would always try his best to eat with great relish. While Ning was still feeling slightly surprised by this trait of Lin Huan, she suddenly heard a very familiar cat's meow. If she wasn't mistaken, that was her cat named Amber. She had brought it along when she came to the depot, but she hadn't had a chance to see it for several days, making her miss it terribly. At this moment, Ning didn't care about anything else around her. She was single-mindedly chasing after her cat. Ning kept running like that, reaching a place in the depot that she didn't recognize. Suddenly, as she got closer, she heard strange voices. But alongside them was Shun Xian's voice. She felt extremely curious, so she moved closer to check. Perhaps she could never have expected that she would overhear a secret being discussed privately by Shun Xian. The moment she discovered that truth, she just wanted to run away as fast as possible in the hope that no one would detect her. But it was probably too late. Just as she intended to leave, Shan Xian approached the door and spoke up. Who is it? Who is hiding outside that door? Ning felt incredibly panicked. She didn't care about anything else in the world. Right now, the only thing in her head was to run as fast as she could. If she didn't escape from here immediately, the next person to lose their life in this depot would certainly be her. As Shun Xian approached the door to open it and see who it was, the person outside had already fled far away. But perhaps Ning could not have expected that. Although she tried to run so fast, her handkerchief did not cooperate. Because she ran too fast, her handkerchief fell to the ground. Seeing the pink handkerchief, the head of the poison division joked, Commander, if our plan has been overheard by the Princess Royal, should we discuss it again? No need. Shun Xian shook his head and replied. Seeing Shan Xian's strangely calm demeanor, a subordinate nearby spoke up in frustration. Do you trust the madam that much? The Empress Dowager surely pressured her to secretly take your life. Are you not afraid she will betray you for her clan? But in response to those warnings, Shun Xian said nothing more. It seemed he felt that trusting his own wife was perfectly correct. Ning had done nothing to make him suspicious like that. The subordinate next to him, seeing Shun Xian's silence, understood the situation. He immediately smiled brightly and replied, This subordinate understands. If the Princess Royal has accepted your arrangement, then there is nothing to worry about, nothing to fear. I believe that if the Princess Royal is a smart person, she would certainly never place herself in such a dangerous situation. Shun Xian, carefully tucking Ning's handkerchief into his pocket, raised his voice. The Eastern Depot has only seen killing and executing criminals all these years. It is truly very boring. It has been a long time since this place had anything fun or interesting. It's fine to keep her by my side for amusement. There is no need to make things tense. Having said that, Shun Xian quickly used his martial arts to leap onto the roof, where Ning's cat, Amber, was lying. He happily stroked the cute cat, then brought it down to the ground and handed it to a servant. Quickly take it to Lin Huan, so he can send it to the madam. This is her cat. Also, from now on, don't scatter your poisons all over the place. If a certain unwitting young lady picks them up, a major incident will surely occur. Shun Xian warned his servants like that because he knew well that Ning was very curious. If he didn't take precautions and let her wander everywhere picking up things she didn't understand and putting them in her mouth, her life would be lost before he could exact his revenge. Meanwhile, Ning still didn't know what was happening. She just ran desperately back home. It was as if she feared that if she stopped, Shun Xian would run up from behind and eat her alive. As soon as she ran back to her palace, she immediately locked the door tight and told her maid, "I accidentally overheard the Eastern Depot's secret. I fear I will be silenced." Needless to say, one could imagine how terrified the maid was. Everyone knew how cold-blooded the commander was. And now that his secret had been heard by the Princess Royal, the outcome would likely be tragic. The maid swallowed with great difficulty, then continued, "Or perhaps we should run away now, Princess. After all, if we manage to escape, our lives might still be safe." "How can we possibly escape?" Ning replied in panic. "Just look, we are surrounded by his territory on all sides. How can we get away?" But after reassuring herself for a moment, Ning turned to the maid. "All right, I think it will be fine. Don't be too scared. After all, I'm the Princess Royal. If he dares to harm me, the consequences he faces will be terrible, so I don't think he dares. Let's stop talking about this. How's the private room I asked you to prepare? Is everything done?" "Yes, Princess, we have prepared the room for you. But because the time was short, it's not perfect, only basic furnishings." Although the new place wasn't very comfortable, Ning thought it was still better than living with that eunuch. Even though he is just a eunuch and cannot consummate the marriage, I still don't like sharing a room with him. Isn't that just humiliating myself? Immediately, news of Ning moving to a private room reached Shun Xian's ears. Moreover, he was informed that besides not sharing a room, Ning did not want to dine with him either. This was truly testing a person's patience. Fine then, if she doesn't want to dine with me, there is no need to force her. She would rather choose a hard life in the servants' quarters than eat with me. Then that means she doesn't need to be treated as the lady of the Eastern Depot anymore. Well, if she shares a room with servants, naturally she must eat and dress like them too. Cut off her food rations immediately, Shun Xian ordered. Anyway, I think she won't be able to resist for long. At most, she'll last until tomorrow. I'm no stranger to a princess's personality like hers. But despite talking tough, as soon as Lin Huan turned his back, Shun Xian looked tearful, as if he had just been dumped by a crush. Seemingly mad with anger, he gritted his teeth and continued, "All right, one more thing. Quickly bring her cat here. I won't allow it to stay by her side." Obeying Shun Xian's order, Lin Huan quickly went to the servants' quarters to inform Ning. With all due respect, Lin Huan bowed and announced, "The commander asked this subordinate to report to you. If the Princess Royal is content staying in this servant's room, it means you no longer consider yourself the mistress of this depot. Therefore, naturally, you must live like a servant. From now on, all usual privileges for the mistress will be cut. You can only rely on yourself. No one will serve you as before." The maid beside her went weak at the knees upon hearing this. "How can we do it ourselves, Princess? From childhood until now, your meals were always prepared by the imperial kitchen. You only had to eat. How can you cook for yourself now, Princess? We are truly done for this time." But to Ning, these trivial matters were no problem. That hateful eunuch wants to corner me by denying me proper food? Fine, then I will cook for myself, without needing anyone to serve me. True to her word, Ning started cooking her first meal on an occasion no one desired. In reality, she and the maid just stood staring at the pan in front of them, not knowing what to do. She had never had the chance to encounter such things before, so how could she know? The maid beside her was equally bewildered. Neither knew when to put the food in to cook, even though the ingredient was simply an egg. After observing for a while, the maid spoke up. "I think when the oil is hot, we could put the food in, princess." Heavens! How could Ning know when the oil was hot? She never went into the kitchen. Well, if she couldn't observe with her eyes, she would use her face to check. So, without hesitation, Ning put her face right over the hot oil pan to check. And as expected, she was overwhelmed by the heat of the oil pan. She panicked so much she could only scream loudly, not knowing what else to do. So, after a laborious session in the kitchen, what she received in return was a pair of eyes as dark as a panda's. Although she tried her best, she still couldn't do it, even though it was just frying a small egg. Breakfast had started a long time ago, but Ning still had no intention of sitting near Shinxian. She would rather starve than sit and eat with that eunuch. However, though she told herself that hunger was unbearable. Furthermore, Shinxian's knife-sharp gaze was directed at her. No matter how unwilling she was, she had to go and sit near him. So after struggling in the kitchen and waiting all this time, Ning finally got to eat. Perhaps from the moment she moved here until now, the thing that satisfied her most was the chef here. Somehow, miraculously, the dishes he cooked were delicious and suited Ning's taste perfectly. She had never been dissatisfied with any dish here. While Ning was enjoying the delicious food in front of her, Shanxian suddenly spoke up, startling her. "Princess, the food is so good, yet you have nothing to say to me?" Hearing this, Ning froze. She cursed silently in her head. "Fine, I can't escape this anyway. I have to face it sooner or later." So, with a face that couldn't look more pitiful, Ning spoke softly. "Yesterday, this princess was in the wrong with the commander. I truly feel guilty, so today I want to apologize to you. As the saying goes, marry a chicken, follow the chicken, marry a dog, follow the dog. Since I married the commander, it means I am the commander's wife. I shouldn't have moved out to sleep alone over such a small matter and refused to dine with you. It is entirely my fault. I know I was very wrong. Please forgive me." Shinxian felt very pleased hearing these sweet words from Ning. He chuckled softly, but turned to speak to Ning in a tone that couldn't be more serious. "Actually, the princess doesn't need to avoid me like the plague. I haven't done anything to the princess, right? Honestly, I don't expect to share a bed with you. But when it comes to meals, the princess must not hide and must sit and eat with me. That is proper etiquette, isn't it? You may not have much affection for me, but please remember that in the eyes of outsiders, we are still husband and wife. If we don't eat together right after the wedding day, wouldn't we become a laughingstock for the world?" Hearing this, Ning found it quite amusing, but she only dared to smile slightly and replied gently, "As long as the commander treats me decently, I will do whatever you want. Rest assured, if that is your wish, I will sit and eat with you 3 meals a day. Does that make you feel at ease? But let's put this aside. If that's what you want, I will pay special attention. But I have a question for you. Shun Xian. Which chef cooks the food at the Eastern Depot? It's just simple dishes, but they taste so delicious, as if cooked by a professional." Hearing Ning's question, Shun Xian paused his chopsticks to reply. "The princess's food is personally cooked by the division head of the White Tiger Division, Wu Youfu. Normally, with his position, he shouldn't be handling this task. But because our division head is very skilled in culinary arts, he has to take on this side job. I hope his skills do not make the princess feel the food is unpalatable." "Oh, is that so? What special skill does he possess to cook such delicious dishes? Do you know?" Shun Xian heard the question, but didn't say anything, waiting for Ning to eat a bit more before replying. "What special skill? He knows how to refine poison." "Princess? Poison?" Hearing this, Ning's limbs suddenly went limp. She couldn't believe her ears. Immediately, she collapsed onto the table, as if she had truly been poisoned. However, facing Ning's situation, Shun Xian did not seem surprised at all. In fact, he was very calm. He looked at her with helpless eyes and slowly spoke. "All right, wake up. Your food isn't poisoned. Why are you so scared?" Suddenly, Ning felt strange. It seemed he was right. If there was poison in the food, I would have kicked the bucket ages ago, instead of being at ease like this. Probably everything is fine. But wait, if that's true, I feel so embarrassed. Why did I act so ridiculously in front of him? How embarrassing. To cover up this embarrassment, Ning quickly stood up and said, "This princess is full. I will return to my room to rest first. When you finish eating, you should quickly go rest too. It's already past noon." But with a personality like Shun Xian's, how could he let her return to her room so easily? He quickly spoke up. "Wait, I have something to say to you before you return to your room." Actually, I know the Princess Royal is the Emperor's precious gem. From a young age, you have borne the noble title of royalty. Letting you share a room with such servants is not appropriate according to the rules at all. You are a dignified princess. How can we allow that? I have ordered people to clean up the rooms in the South Pavilion. Everything should be done today. You can move in there. If you feel anything necessary is missing, just tell me, and I will definitely have someone bring it to you. Rooms in the South Pavilion? Isn't that the place opposite Shun Xian's room? To Ning, this distance was still a bit close, but she didn't mind it much. What she cared about was that this eunuch was actually being so enthusiastic with her. Not only did he agree to let her sleep in a private room, but he also took the initiative to clean it for her. Truly a decent person. Ah, right, there's one more thing I forgot to tell you. I have ordered someone to bring your cat to your room. Last night, it was in my room, crying all night long, truly giving me a headache, so this morning please quickly go and take it back. Otherwise, I will be annoyed to death by it. Hearing Shan Xian say this, Ning was extremely surprised. Heavens, thank goodness you caught Amber again. I don't know why it kept running off these past few days, making me feel very anxious. All right, rest assured. This time when Amber returns to me, I will discipline it properly. I definitely won't let it bother you anymore. But immediately after, Ning suddenly remembered something. All right, Shun Xian. Today I must return home to greet the Empress Dowager. Surely you haven't forgotten, have you? Just mentioning the words Empress Dowager in front of Shun Xian caused his attitude to flip 180 degrees. He was no longer happy and cheerful as before. Instead, he began to frown and then spoke in a gritty, annoyed tone. This commander is busy with many official duties today, so I fear I cannot accompany you to visit the Empress Dowager. I must ask the princess to inquire after the Empress Dowager's health on my behalf. Indeed, whenever the Empress Dowager was mentioned in front of Shun Xian, he immediately felt displeased. More than anyone, Princess Ning sensed this clearly. She immediately left, knowing that if Shun Xian was already annoyed, it was best for her to leave quickly, otherwise the consequences would be unpredictable. So, according to plan, this morning Princess Ning prepared a very presentable appearance to return and meet the Empress Dowager. From the moment she stepped through the door, tears were already welling up in her eyes. Seeing her pawn return so intact, the Empress Dowager curiously asked, "How is it? You were married into the Eastern Depot. Is everything going smoothly, Princess?" Ning had prepared everything beforehand. She knew for certain that upon her return, the Empress Dowager would immediately ask about her affairs at the Eastern Depot. Therefore, before entering to see the Empress Dowager, she had put salt water in her eyes so that when she entered, tears would flow naturally, saving her much effort in pretending to cry. Using all the acting talent she had possessed since childhood, Ning sniffled and spoke. "Empress Dowager, you know that being married into the Eastern Depot and returning safe and sound like this is already a great blessing and huge luck. How can I even think about whether life is smooth or not?" However, contrary to Ning's pitiful face, the Empress Dowager remained very calm. She took a light sip of tea and slowly said, "Ning, returning here to me is better than having to go back to the Eastern Depot. Shun Xian must have treated you very terribly. Ning, I have something to ask you sincerely. Do you really want to leave the Eastern Depot, that place filled with vicious wolves?" Hearing this question from the Empress Dowager, Ning hesitated a little. Why would she ask such a question? Was she trying to test her? After thinking it through, Ning replied loudly, "Of course I want to, Empress Dowager. What kind of terrible place is the Eastern Depot? Everywhere in the Eastern Depot is just full of insidious wolves, and it is a place of eunuchs who only know blades and swords all day. I truly feel very suffocated living in such an environment. I find it incredibly hard to breathe. Moreover, in Shun Xian's eyes, I am nothing more than a pawn planted by the Empress Dowager. You've made things difficult for me many times. For now, my life is temporarily fine, but who knows for sure that he won't harm me in the future." The more she spoke, the more pitiful Ning appeared, causing even the Empress Dowager to be suspicious. "All right, I understand your feelings very well. So let it be this way. If you are surrounded by insidious wolves, there is no other way. You can only eliminate the alpha wolf yourself. Only then can you hope for your life to be peaceful." Speaking thus, she ordered a maid to bring a small jar of medicine to Ning. Before Ning's astonished gaze, the Empress Dowager spoke softly. "Strike a preemptive blow against the operator of the Eastern Depot. You just need to use this bottle of poison on him, and he will immediately ascend to heaven to meet his ancestors. When that happens, you won't need to worry anymore." Needless to say, Ning was terrified. This was the first time she had been forced to do something so dangerous to herself. Looking at the poison bottle in front of her, she continuously waved her hands and said, "No, Empress Dowager. How can I do such a heinous thing? Surely the Empress Dowager is no stranger to the Eastern Depot. It is full of formidable people. Everyone has extremely high martial arts skills. So what can a weak woman like me do? Moreover, you know clearly what kind of person Shen Xian is. Even the commander of the embroidered uniform guard is no match for him. How can I do this? It is completely beyond my ability." But no matter how many times Ning refused, the Empress Dowager's view remained the same. Nothing changed. She just looked at her with a determined gaze, then spoke, "Only you can do it. Aside from you, no one else can accomplish this. Even though there are many people outside more insidious and cruel than you, you have an advantage that not everyone has. You are the person by that Shen Xian side. As long as you want to, nothing is impossible. Just be a little clever, and everything will surely succeed. But Empress Dowager, you know clearly that Shen Xian is a eunuch. He never has feelings for a woman like me. So how can I have the opportunity to get close to him? We have stayed in separate rooms since the wedding night. Is there any way for me to make a move on him?" At this moment, the Empress Dowager moved closer and closer to Ning. She gently placed her hand on Ning's face and whispered, "My dear Princess Royal, didn't you inherit everything most beautiful from your mother's face? Moreover, your father was no ordinary man, so your appearance is nothing short of a beauty. I am certain that if you want to get close to him, he will definitely never be able to refuse. This is a type of medicine with extremely potent poison. Just a tiny bit of it is enough to take his life. You just need to wait for a moment when he isn't paying attention and put a small drop of this into his food. He will certainly ascend to heaven to meet his ancestors immediately." Ning knew that no matter how many more times she refused, it would not work. So for now, she would just pretend to agree with the Empress Dowager. As long as she agreed now, the Dowager would trust her. As for the rest, she could figure it out later. Looking at the bottle of poison in front of her, Ning once again put on a pitiful face and replied, "All right, Empress Dowager, I will definitely help you to the best of my ability. But I have a small request for you. I hope you can grant it. After my father passed away, you used management as a reason to revoke my 600 household fiefs. Now that I belong to the Eastern Depot, if I have to rely on others even for food, how can I help the Empress Dowager? Why don't you return those 600 household fiefs to me now? If I have that many assets in reserve, I won't have to worry about food and clothing anymore. Then I can devote all my energy to carrying out the mission the Empress Dowager has assigned me." After listening to these words from Ning, the Empress Dowager felt it made a lot of sense. If she wanted Ning to help, she should at least reward her generously beforehand, so she would have the motivation to work. So, in accordance with Ning's request, the 600 household fiefs that had been revoked by the Empress Dowager were returned directly to her. After having everything returned by the Empress Dowager, Ning immediately happily retreated. The moment she stepped out of the Empress Dowager's palace door, she wore a different face. A face that completely exuded the aura of someone with great wealth. Today, besides visiting the Empress Dowager, Ning also had to stop by to visit her younger brother, who was serving as the puppet emperor. Immediately upon seeing his sister return safe and sound, the reigning emperor felt truly happy. He immediately ran towards Ning and continuously asked, "Sister, how is your life at the Eastern Depot? That Shen Xian must treat you very badly, right? I truly feel very worried for you. All right, come inside with me to talk. It's not very convenient out here." Then the emperor and Ning quickly moved inside to talk. As soon as they were settled, the emperor quickly asked, "Sister, what did the Empress Dowager say to you today? She must have put a lot of pressure on you, right?" Ning sighed and continued, "Actually, it wasn't anything too big. She just gave me a bottle of poison. But don't worry too much. She doesn't actually want to kill me. She just wants me to assassinate Shen Xian. In reality, right now, I am not the Empress Dowager's person, nor am I a person of the Eastern Depot. My position right now is like someone walking on a bridge with no support. On one end stands the Empress Dowager. On the other end, Shen Xian is waiting. If I am not careful for even a moment, I will immediately fall into a deep abyss with no salvation. So I must be careful with my every action." Although encouraged by his sister like that, the emperor could not help but feel worried and uneasy. Even knowing that, how can you make a move on that Shenxian? He is inherently an incredibly sinister person. How can you deceive him? Ning smiled brightly and replied, "Actually, the poison bottle is in my hands, but whether to use it or not is completely up to me to decide, isn't it? Even if I am questioned by the Empress Dowager, as long as I say I didn't have the opportunity to do it, she can't do anything to me." But, sister, have you forgotten what kind of person the Empress Dowager is? She is not someone easily tricked like that. Do you think she will let you fool her easily? However, while the conversation between the Emperor and Ning was still going on very tensely, suddenly the Emperor's face gradually turned pale. He raised his hand to point behind Ning and said tremblingly, "Sister, that Shenxian is here. What will we do, sister?" If he heard what the two of us were just saying, surely our lives will not be preserved. When Ning realized that the person standing behind her right now was the very ingredient for her wolf cooking session just now, she truly felt very shaken. Just as the Emperor feared, if Shun Xian had heard this conversation, today would likely be the last day the two siblings would breathe. Although very frightened, she still gently turned around, pretended to be calm, and said, "Oh, why didn't the commander announce his entry to the palace, so I would know? If I had known, I would have come out to welcome my husband." No one could know exactly what Shenxian had heard or not, but he showed no sign of anger. He just smiled and gently said, "It's nothing important. I just finished my work this morning, so I stopped by on my way to take the princess back to the manor. For such a small matter, how could this subject disturb his majesty and the princess?" The emperor, standing nearby and hearing this, felt relieved, but he still had one question he didn't understand. "Shun Xian, you said you entered the palace just to pick up the princess royal. So why did you bring such a fierce dog with you? If the officials in the court see this, they will surely misunderstand you." Faced with this reproach from the emperor, Shun Xian immediately replied, "Perhaps your majesty does not know, but a dog is a very intelligent animal. It can detect many dangers that the human eye cannot see. That is the reason this subject brought it along today." Suddenly, the dog Shun Xian barked repeatedly towards Ning, causing her to be so scared she couldn't breathe. Could this dog have smelled the bottle of poison inside her sleeve? Oh heavens, what should she do? If he discovered she had poison in her sleeve, he would surely eliminate her. What kind of place is the Eastern Depot? They would rather kill the wrong person than let one slip. This trip of mine is fraught with danger. Shun Xian stood by, confused. Normally, this dog never barks at acquaintances, unless he smells something dangerous, like poison, for instance. He had harbored some suspicions in his heart, but he kept them to himself. "I have trained this dog for 3 years. If it did not encounter anything dangerous, it would not bark like this. Shall I see what the princess is hiding on her person?" And so, Shun Xian approached Ning to see what exactly was making his dog bark so much. Ning could only pray to Buddha in her mind, sweating cold sweat out of fear. As Shun Xian got closer and closer, Ning could no longer bear the terror and screamed loudly, "No, I'm not hiding anything on me." But fortunately, Shun Xian was only helping her remove a leaf stuck to her clothes, and nothing else. She then quickly followed Shun Xian home. Otherwise, he would become suspicious. Before leaving, she pretended to linger a bit to instruct the emperor. "Brother, I must follow my husband home now. You stay here, study hard, and work well. If I have more free time, I will surely come back to visit you." If outsiders did not know better, they would think Ning truly cared for her brother. But in reality, she did this only to toss the bottle of poison into the emperor's hand, hoping he could help her dispose of it. The emperor looked at the poison bottle in his hand for a moment, then unhesitatingly threw it straight into the lake. As he threw it, he thought to himself, "Oh, my poor sister. I hope she can endure for just a little while longer." On the way back to the manor, Ning's sedan chair was blocked by a crowd passing by, making it impossible to move. Having waited for quite a long time, both felt a bit annoyed, so they simultaneously poked their heads out of the carriage to look. It turned out the person outside was no stranger. Indeed, if there is fate, people will meet again. Recognizing who was outside, Shun Xian sighed and said, "So, it is Governor Yu of the Southern Administrative Division. I heard people whispering that the governor once had a betrothal with the eldest princess. Is that true?" Hearing this, Ning was stunned. Why did he know about her past? Had he investigated her? Truly, Ning did not know how this hateful eunuch knew about her past, but now that she was his wife, if she did not speak up to clarify the matter, she feared unwanted trouble would arise. She looked at Shun Xian with a panicked gaze and replied, "How could there be such an absurd story? Who did you hear that from?" "Actually, it was just a joke by the mother consort. She only wanted to tease to make everyone around happy. There was no betrothal here." Shun Xian did not seem to care much about Ning's explanation. He looked at her and replied. At that time, it caused a great wave in the capital. How old was the eldest princess then? 11 or 12? By now, Ning felt very tired of Shun Xian. Although she said it was just a joke by the mother consort, this tactless man kept asking incessantly, making her extremely uncomfortable. "I was 12 then, but those were just joking words. You need not concern yourself with it." While answering this annoying man, Ning thought to herself, "What did he eat today? Why is he suddenly talking so unusually much, giving me a headache? He doesn't mention new matters, but keeps digging up the past. I don't understand what this madman is thinking." Suddenly, Shun Xian signaled his carriage to stop right in front of Governor Yu's convoy. She wondered what crazy idea he had now. Governor Yu also did not understand what was happening, wondering who was inside that carriage to dare order him to stop. Shun Xian was not one to keep others waiting. He immediately lifted the curtain to greet Governor Yu. "Long time no see, Governor Yu. How is your health lately?" Sitting beside him, Ning felt incredibly panicked. "Oh my, they say one mountain cannot have two tigers." Everyone knows how tense the relationship between the Imperial Guard and the Eastern Depot has always been. Meeting face to face on the street like this was truly awkward. Looking at their faces, it seemed as if they were about to fight. Governor Yu was also extremely surprised that the person in the carriage was not only Commander Shun Xian, but also Ning. Strange, why was the eldest princess sitting in this man's carriage? Had the eldest princess gotten married? Although surprised by Ning's appearance, according to protocol, he had to greet the commander first because his rank was higher than Governor Yu's. Seeing Governor Yu's respectful attitude in front of him, Shun Xian showed no courtesy in return. Instead, he said unpleasantly, "There have been many rumors circulating the capital lately. Do you know? I heard people say Empress Dowager Liang wants to match her only daughter with you. Is that correct?" Governor Yu is truly a lucky man. Few people in this world have the opportunity to marry such a precious gem. You must grasp your opportunity. Hearing this shocking news from Shun Xian's mouth, Ning was extremely surprised. What on earth? I have only been out of the palace for 2 days. Could such a shocking event really have happened during my absence? Facing Shun Xian's abrupt question, Governor Yu was not very surprised. He smiled slightly and replied, "Actually, people around the capital just rumor so, but there has been no official decision yet." Though he said that, Princess Ning understood this better than anyone. If a rumor has spread, it is certainly 80% true. The remaining 20% just awaits the emperor's decision. In fact, when the princess began to fall from grace, she had already thought of this. Empress Dowager Liang would surely find the best place for her daughter to rely on, and naturally, no place could be better than with Governor Yu. Seeing the look of happiness on Governor Yu's face, Ning knew this good event would happen soon. Sitting beside him, Shun Xian suddenly laughed loudly. "We should offer congratulations to Governor Yu, should we not? I have long heard rumors that the Empress Dowager and Commander Huahir have a very good relationship. To match the Empress Dowager's only daughter with Governor Yu proves this is no ordinary relationship. Truly, those who are close become even closer. Good things piling upon good things, isn't it?" Governor Yu stood silently listening to everything. Looking at Shun Xian's attitude, he knew that man never had kind words for him. Now that he was cheerfully congratulating him, he surely wanted to provoke him. Although Governor Yu felt extremely angry, he tried to appear as calm as possible. Looking at Shun Xian's gloating face, he spoke up. "If the commander has something to say, please say it straight. Do not beat around the bush and waste our time." Shun Xian said nothing more. He immediately dropped the curtain and sat back inside. After settling into his seat, he spoke loudly enough for Governor Yu to hear. There are words in the heart that are hard to speak. If spoken plainly, they would offend both sides. Therefore, it is best not to say anything. After saying these words, Shun Xian immediately ordered the carriage to move on, leaving Governor Yu standing there alone, not understanding what had happened. After the carriage had gone a fair distance, Ning slowly spoke up to ask, "Why did you speak such provoking words to him just now? I recall, Governor, you never did anything to offend you, right?" It is true he has never offended me, but in this life, I detest that kind of hypocrite the most. A dignified man who clings to a woman's skirt to climb up, he truly knows no shame. Suddenly, while Ning and Shan Xian's conversation was still lively, an arrow flew from outside straight into the carriage, causing Ning to scream loudly. Fortunately, Shan Xian reacted in time and saved Ning's life. After a while, when Ning calmed down and realized what was happening, she panted and asked Shan Xian, "We were just assassinated, weren't we?" "That is right, princess. But this person missed and has fled." "Quite clever. If I had caught him, his worthless life would have been sent to meet his ancestors." Ning felt extremely surprised. "What just happened? Did you not see we were just assassinated? How can you appear so naturally calm?" "I only have this one life. If something happens to it, how can I continue to live?" Shan Xian displayed a very nonchalant attitude and replied to the princess, "If you knew it was an assassination, why did the princess not dodge but sit there taking it? Could the princess not react in time?" Ning put on a pitiful face and replied, "That arrow moved so fast. Who could dodge it? It is lucky enough that I protected this life of mine." Hearing this, Shan Xian shook his head in disappointment and continued, "Princess, you are too weak." After a journey that was not very smooth with Shan Xian, finally, Ning was able to sit and rest peacefully in her own palace. While admiring the view, Ning rested. "Honestly, when I first heard I was to be married to that Shan Xian, I felt extremely terrified. Partly because the incident from 6 years ago made me obsessed with fear at the thought of meeting him again. Moreover, he is a eunuch with a very eccentric temperament. If I lived in the same house with him, surely something bad would happen. But things are not as I imagined at all. Shan Xian not only hasn't tormented me a bit, but on the contrary, he treats me very well. This makes me extremely surprised. Furthermore, yesterday, he just saved my life. Could it be that I've thought ill of him? No, that thought must be dismissed immediately. That cannot be. From the past until now, my intuition has never been wrong. That Shan Xian is definitely not a good person. It is just that because he just saved me, I feel a bit guilty in my conscience. Wait a while longer, and his true nature will be revealed." While she was sitting and thinking randomly about past events, suddenly Shan Xian appeared, startling her. Immediately, the cat named Amber in her arms also suddenly ran towards Shan Xian, making her very angry. So she scolded, "Amber, you have only been here for a short time, and you're already planning to rebel? Who is your master?" Seeing Shan Xian getting closer and closer to her, Princess Ning immediately spoke up to ask, "Commander Shan, you have so many official duties to handle, don't you? Why you have the leisure to visit me here today?" However, ignoring Ning's seemingly sincere greeting, Shan Xian only coldly uttered 2 words, "Come here," which made Ning feel extremely uncomfortable. Who is he to dare order me around? Am I not a dignified eldest princess? No one dares to order me like this. Seeing Ning's unhappy expression, Shan Xian understood the situation. Immediately, he changed his attitude and replied cheerfully, "Please forgive the subject for the improper address. I invite your highness the princess to step over here with your noble feet. This subject has something to say to you." Hearing this, Princess Ning's attitude immediately changed. "All right, if you speak gently like that, I can accept it. To think that I'm a princess and also his wife, yet he dared to order me around. Truly unacceptable." It turned out that Shan Xian came to find Ning this morning with a purpose. He had prepared a large sword for her, then handed it to her and continued, "Take this sword. I will teach you a few moves so you can protect yourself from danger." "What is this now?" Ning originally thought the words Shan Xian said yesterday were just a pretense. Who would have guessed he would actually carry it out today? Looking at the sword in front of her, Ning asked again, "Hey, you're not joking with me, are you? You really want me to use this sword?" Shan Xian seemed unwilling to change his decision. He looked at her with eyes that couldn't be more serious, then replied, "Does this commander's face look like it's joking? The eldest princess is too weak and cannot defend or protect herself. If this situation continues in the future, it will be very dangerous. If by chance you encounter a situation you cannot easily escape, your life will be hard to preserve. Therefore, it is best for the princess to learn a few moves to protect herself. That way, This subject can also feel at ease when letting the princess go out for a stroll. But naturally, how could Ning easily submit to someone else's arrangement? She immediately returned the sword to Shun Xian and spoke up. This princess does not need to learn such meaningless things. When I go out, I have guards following to protect me. Why do I need to learn when I already have people to protect me? The princess is incorrect to say that. Last time the princess went out, didn't you have guards protecting you? Yet you were still assassinated. This proves that no matter how many guards follow you, if you don't have the ability to protect yourself, you will still be in danger. Princess, I have something true to tell you. No one can protect you better than yourself. If you cannot protect yourself, who else can do it? No one can do it if you can't even do it yourself. Ning, feeling frustrated, spoke up. Isn't this all because of you? It was only because I went with you that I was implicated. That arrow was obviously meant to assassinate you, not me. I was just unlucky to be sitting in the same carriage as you. Shun Xian was not one to be outdone. He immediately replied, since you have entered the Eastern Depot, you are certainly a person of the Eastern Depot. Assassins will not distinguish how close or distant you are. Do you really think the person who wants my life would easily spare the princess? After all, we are already husband and wife. If they cannot take my life, they will certainly take yours for revenge. At that time, even if I became a celestial being in the heavens, I couldn't save you. All right, I don't have much time to talk with you anymore. Hurry up and pick up the sword to fight me. Only then will I know if the princess has potential or not. But I can't do it, Ning replied weakly. From childhood until now, I have never touched such a thing. How can I possibly do it? The princess does not need to use it skillfully. Just try stabbing a few times. Originally, this subject only wanted to see the princess's strength to train you properly. Princess Ning was very annoyed at this point. She had clearly said she couldn't do it, yet this eunuch kept forcing her. Fine then, I'll stab him directly, so he learns some manners. Saying that, Ning quickly aimed straight at Shun Xian to attack. But immediately after, she was blocked by Shun Xian. He shook his head and said, the eldest princess is too weak, and furthermore, moves very slowly. How can you protect yourself when every action is like a turtle like this? Saying that, Shun Xian quickly used his arm to put Ning in a headlock, surprising her greatly. While clamping Ning's neck tightly, Shun Xian asked, if the eldest princess is choked by someone like this, what must you do to save yourself? Ning didn't know what to do. How could she ever have known she would fall into such a situation to find a way to cope? After thinking for a short while, she decided to move slowly, bit by bit, to escape Shun Xian's embrace. But how could Shun Xian let her off that easily? Seeing her move so slowly, he replied, wrong. If you're being choked by an opponent like this, and you move like that, it will certainly make the opponent feel extremely angry. At that point, he will surely finish you off. But by now, Ning felt a lot of pain. Being choked by someone like this wasn't pleasant at all. She replied in extreme discomfort. I don't know how to escape this, but right now, I feel very painful. I cannot continue this anymore. Seeing Ning's uncomfortable state, Shun Xian began to explain to her patiently, bit by bit. If, in a situation where the princess is threatened by an opponent with a knife, you can grab his right forearm tightly. Doing this, firstly, can separate the knife from your flesh. Furthermore, the finger joints are among the easiest things to break on the human body. The princess can absolutely strike there. Only then can you make the opponent feel weakened. Finger joints are one of the weakest parts of a human. Very well. Since it was like that, why would Ning hesitate to teach Shun Xian a lesson, taking revenge for him, making her fight so early in the morning? Although his finger joint was bent by Ning, causing immense pain, Shun Xian was not angry. On the contrary, he happily said, correct, you did exactly right. After that, Shun Xian continued to teach Princess Ning a series of other attack moves, causing her to train until she was exhausted and out of breath. Seeming unable to endure anymore, Ning immediately spoke up. All right, let's stop training here for today. This princess feels very tired now. Let me rest a bit. Otherwise, I'll faint right here from exhaustion. But how could Shun Xian let Ning rest so early? He looked at her seriously and continued. How can you rest so soon? Quickly pick up the sword. We have many things to learn. You've only learned a little, and you're already complaining of fatigue. Do you think this commander isn't tired? If I weren't afraid that you were incompetent and unable to protect yourself, why would I waste time uselessly here? I have hundreds of tasks outside that need resolving. Do you think I have free time to be here with you? Hearing this, Ning felt very indignant. Shun Xian speaking like that was no different from saying she was bothering him. Unable to stand the insult, Ning immediately shouted loudly. This princess didn't force you to waste time here for me. Since childhood, I have studied the zither, chess, poetry, and painting. I spent all my time learning those things, not meaningless fighting like this. From a young age, I have never liked such barbaric things. And at the same time, I hate people like you, those who bully the weak and deceive the strong. Originally, Shun Xian's expression was still very normal. But hearing these words come from Ning's mouth made him feel unpleasant. Princess, it seems you are overestimating yourself. From the past until now, I have never expected to be liked by the princess. I thought a smart person like the princess would choose the right time to behave, knowing when to yield to keep one's life safe. I thought the princess would know this clearly. Hearing up to here, Ning shivered. I'm done for. He's about to lose control. I chose the wrong day to get angry. Perhaps I'm really about to meet my end at his hands. Having lived in peace for the past few days, perhaps Ning had forgotten who the person standing in front of her was. Even if a beast retracts its fangs, its nature is still that of a beast. Shun Xian's temperament has never been pleasant. Now with my way of speaking, surely he will send me to meet my ancestors. But contrary to Ning's thoughts at that moment, Shun Xian was not angry at all. Instead, he reached out to block Ning's incoming sword and explained, "For the princess, attacking the chest or abdomen area is not a good strategy. For someone with a modest height like the princess, the most feasible place is probably the neck. You just need to unexpectedly use force to strike a strong blow to the neck. Surely then the opponent's fresh blood will gush out. By that time, the opponent will be quickly taken down, and he will have absolutely no time to call for help." Suddenly, Ning followed the instructions Shun Xian pointed out. But surprisingly, when she touched his neck, something hard blocked it. If her guess at that moment wasn't wrong, that thing was an Adam's apple. But seeing Shun Xian's stiff and awkward expression, Ning knew she shouldn't delve deeper into this matter. She immediately withdrew the sword in her hand and looked at Shun Xian with pitiful eyes, replying, "This princess originally didn't want to practice martial arts at all. Since childhood, I haven't liked the smell of blood. Now you want me to practice martial arts. It really exceeds my endurance. Besides, my safety should be Commander Shin's responsibility, shouldn't it? After all, I am your wife. If you don't protect me, who else will?" Hearing this, Shun Xian gave a faint smile and said, "I told the princess not to entrust your safety to others like that. After all, one's own life is what one values most. Is there anyone who cherishes your life more than yourself?" Ning suddenly spoke loudly. "What? I can't even trust you? You are my husband. If you don't protect me, who can protect me?" Shun Xian sighed heavily and said, "Actually, this subject only taught the princess simple moves. I only hope the princess will use them for self-defense, not to attack anyone. Honestly speaking, from the beginning until now, this subject hasn't wanted to teach the princess these moves at all. But for the safety of the princess herself, this subject is forced to teach you. However, this subject also hopes that you never have the opportunity to use these things. If the princess uses it, it means the princess is in danger, and this subject does not want any mishaps to befall the princess. Fine, we will stop the martial arts lesson here today. Tomorrow, I will order Jiang to teach you horse riding and archery. Controlling a horse will help you escape if you are in danger, so you cannot fail to learn it. Furthermore, if the princess feels she doesn't like Jiang teaching her riding, tomorrow this subject can come teach you as well. But lately, this subject is busy handling many important matters. I fear I might not teach you thoroughly enough." Hearing this, Ning suddenly reacted. No need for you to trouble yourself coming to teach me. Jiang teaching me is fine. You best not come and focus on finishing your work. If any mistake happens, the whole Eastern Depot will be in trouble, so no need for you to come teach me tomorrow." Truly, in Ning's heart, she didn't want Shun Xian to teach her at all. If someone else taught her, she might have time to rest. But if this crazy guy came to teach, he would surely torment her all day hard like today. Suddenly, while Ning and Shun Xian were still talking excitedly inside, an announcement from the guards came from outside. "Reporting to Governor, we have caught the assassin. We invite you to inspect and handle it." Upon receiving this news from a guard, the expression on Shun Xian's face changed. He suddenly became serious, looking very grave, then turned to Princess Ning and said loudly, "All right, Princess, let's take a break here today. If you have other work now, go do it. I have a more important matter to resolve." Saying this, Shun Xian immediately disappeared, leaving Ning alone in an incredibly exhausted state. She slumped down onto a nearby swing and complained to her close mate, "Oh my God, I'm so tired I could faint today. That unreasonable guy keeps forcing me to learn martial arts. My limbs are all sore. I don't know if I can sleep tonight." Ahai, Dongri, I have something to ask you. Tell me, theoretically, if a eunuch is castrated, do they still have an Adam's apple? Suddenly I'm wondering about this. Dong Hui fell silent for a moment, then replied, Adam's apple? As far as this servant knows, if a eunuch is castrated after reaching adulthood, they will definitely have one. Only if they are adults? Ning asked herself. 6 years ago when he first met me, he was only about 16 or 17. Could it be he was castrated then, so he still has an Adam's apple? But immediately, this thought was kicked out of Ning's head. Wait, this isn't quite right. Shan Xian was demoted from the Directorate of Ceremonial to a laborer due to a mistake. The Directorate of Ceremonial is a very lucrative place. They certainly wouldn't let a eunuch new to the palace work there. So from that, one can deduce that by the time Shan Xian was demoted to the Cleansing Bureau, he had already been in the palace for a while. If counting the time before that, he was only 13 or 14. Could a young boy like that already have an Adam's apple? This really makes me very curious. While Ning was still very puzzled about the timing of Shan Xian's Adam's apple appearance, how could it appear so early? There must be something abnormal. Meanwhile, Shan Xian was working very tensely with the prisoner in the dungeon. Shan Xian looked at the assassin in front of him and growled. Well, are you ready to talk yet? This assassin seemed not to hear Shan Xian interrogating him. No matter how loud he shouted, the man didn't respond, as if he were deaf. A eunuch nearby quickly spoke up. This guy is very stubborn, Governor. He has had 11 ribs crushed, but still refuses to say a word. But we can't use more poison on him, because if we do, he definitely won't survive to see his ancestors. Shan Xian looked at the assassin gloatingly and continued. Do you think if you say nothing, this governor won't investigate who is behind ordering you? That day when you assassinated me, you used the arrow very professionally. But perhaps you forgot one thing. People who practice archery for a long time will have thick calluses on the waist of the left hand, as well as between the 2 index fingers of the right hand. But look at yourself now. Your calluses are in the middle of your right palm. Doesn't that prove your specialty is using a blade? A Xiao Chundao. You are someone sent by the brocade guard to assassinate me, aren't you? Hearing Shan Xian say this, the eunuchs nearby immediately looked very indignant. One eunuch couldn't stand it, rushed at the assassin, and shouted, he truly was sent by the brocade guard. Don't stop me. Let me castrate him alive. But contrary to this eunuch's anger, Shan Xian gently wiped the dirt from his hands and said, all right, release him quickly. No need to keep him here so long. It's of no benefit to us. Shan Xian said this because he had seen through the secret plot of the person behind it. Actually, Empress Dowager Liang only wanted to form a marriage alliance with the Eastern Depot to make him lower his guard. Then she coordinated closely with the brocade guard to have someone assassinate him. Seeing the assassin's actions, he understood enough. But he didn't expect her to be so impatient. Not even a month has passed, and she's already eager to take his life? Fine then. Since we know who is behind it, the best way is to find where their hideout is to deal with them, right? Shan Xian immediately ordered men to throw the assassin into a shallow river, as long as his life wasn't endangered. At that point, he would find a way to return to the brocade guard. The Easter Depot's job was simply to follow the clues he left behind. Then they could find a mastermind's vulnerability. After dealing with the assassin, Shan Xian quickly had to return to work at the Eastern Depot. Today, there were many things to resolve, but before stopping by the Eastern Depot, he had to pass by Ning's residence. Just stepping to the door, Shan Xian had to stop and gaze for a moment, causing the eunuch walking beside him to feel strange. Seeing the governor stop and look for quite a while, the eunuch asked, isn't that the eldest princess's southern pavilion? Does the commander want to see her? Immediately, the governor denied it decisively. What are you saying? I have no such intention. It's just that suddenly passing by here, I feel a bit of pity for her, nothing else. The assassin who attacked me that day certainly knew Ning was in the carriage. Moreover, the person who ordered him couldn't have been unaware, yet they still acted like that, disregarding her life or death. Poor Ning, she has lived a very cautious life, always looking ahead and behind, watching others' attitudes to live. Yet no matter how good she is, she could never have expected that she is just a discard in the Empress Dowager's eyes. I married her only for business, absolutely no romantic feelings. But seeing her fall into such a situation, who wouldn't be heartbroken? The eunuch walking beside him nodded in agreement. Actually, Princess Ning is a very pitiful person, lacking a mother's care since childhood. How could she not feel self-pity? Besides, the princess has very beautiful eyes. This servant believes anyone would have affection for her upon first meeting. Suddenly hearing the eunuch say this, Shan Xian changed his attitude. You pay too much attention to the princess, don't you? Even more than me. But well, that's not very important. Wait until I settle all these matters. I will let Ning go. At that time, how she lives or dies is no longer my business. At this moment, inside the southern pavilion, the eldest princess was incredibly frustrated. Heavens, she hadn't been allowed to leave the palace for days. She was about to go crazy. She didn't understand what that eunuch was doing not letting her out. Did he want to put her under house arrest? Whenever she wanted to go out to visit the emperor, she was blocked by guards. She really didn't understand what he wanted from her. After thinking for a long time, without finding a reason, with his eccentric personality, only climbing a ladder to heaven would reveal the answer. But how can I climb a ladder to ask heaven? Fine, I have to go find that crazy guy. I must go find him to reason with him. So after thinking very carefully, Ning decided to go find Shan Xian to get to the bottom of this matter. She couldn't let this crazy guy do whatever he wanted. But suddenly, when Ning reached Shan Xian's door, she stopped. She didn't understand where all her courage from earlier had gone. Truly, standing before his door, she felt incredibly small. She couldn't quite do it. But luckily, next to Shan Xian's door was a gap. Looking through this gap to see what he was doing would be more reassuring. After all, know yourself, know your enemy, and you will win 100 battles. So Ning peeked through that gap to see what Shan Xian was doing. But perhaps something appeared that Ning could never have expected. She was so surprised she screamed in her head, "Oh my God, is he shaving his beard? This is truly incredibly absurd. A castrated eunuch like him has a beard to shave? There is definitely something shady behind this." Suddenly, while Ning was still engrossed in trying to see what that shady thing was, Shan Xian abruptly opened the door, startling her so much she fell backward. "Oh my God, what do I do now? Did he see me peeking just now? I'm dead meat today. He won't let me off this time." With a face pale from fear, Ning tried to run away just like that. But of course, how could Shan Xian let her go so easily? He immediately reached out to hold her tight and continued, "Eldest princess, you just arrived at my room. Why leave before even entering? Is there something making the princess so rushed? Eldest princess, usually you view this subject's bedroom like a termite nest. Every day, you don't even want to take a half step inside. But why are you so proactive today? Is there some unspeakable reason behind it? But if the princess hadn't come, that would be one thing. Since you came, why skulk outside the door like that? Confess, eldest princess, what did you see?" Needless to say, Ning was terrified. Looking at Shan Xian's sharp, cold face, it was impossible not to be afraid. He looked at her with eyes like bullets, making her shudder. With all her courage, she swallowed and replied, "I didn't see anything important at all. I only saw you looking in the mirror. At that moment, I intended to ask you, but I don't know where a sharp knife came flying towards me, startling me so much I fell back like this." Hearing Ning complain like that, Shan Xian felt a bit guilty. He sighed and replied, "Swords have no eyes. I didn't mean to do that. But in the future, if you have something to say, just send someone to report it. You don't need to come see me personally like this. If the princess were to see something unsightly in this subject's room, I would bear the guilt for a lifetime. So next time, just send a servant. Don't go back and forth and waste your effort, princess." "Oh, that's right. Did you come to find me because you want to go out?" Princess Ning looked extremely surprised. "Oh my God, how did you know? How did you know I really want to go out? Are you stalking me?" Shan Xian did not say a word. He turned his back to the room and continued, "Inside this estate, the princess can do whatever she wants, but the main gate is guarded in shifts. Without my written order, you cannot leave. Usually, you avoid me like the plague, but today you actively sought me out. One doesn't need to think hard to know the reason." "That's exactly it," Princess Ning replied. "I feel incredibly homesick for the emperor. We siblings haven't met in a long time, so I really miss him. Could the commander please grant me permission to go back and visit my family? I promise after visiting the emperor, I will immediately return to the estate and not go anywhere else." Shan Xian now knew what Princess Ning's purpose was. He smiled sinisterly and continued, "All right then, if the princess wants to go out that badly, then help me tie up my hair. Once it's done, I will grant you permission to leave." Looking at Princess Ning's bewildered face, Shan Xian spoke again. Why does the princess look so unpleasant? Husband and wife painting eyebrows and tying hair for each other is quite normal. Moreover, after tying my hair, you get permission to visit your family. Isn't that a great gift, princess? Although she didn't want it all, Princess Ning still had to help him tie his hair. Just to visit home, she had to suffer like this. Normally, someone else would help Shen Xian with this, but recently there was too much work, so Shen Xian had sent everyone away on tasks, leaving no one in the estate. While Princess Ning helped Shen Xian tie his hair, she took the chance to check if she had been mistaken earlier. Unless, if he didn't shave, did he just have a hobby of playing with knives in front of the mirror? Let me take a look. Does he really have no beard on his face? While Princess Ning was focusing all her energy to see if there was a single whisker left on Shen Xian's face, she was startled out of her wits by him. To cover up her actions, she could only praise his handsomeness. That was why she had been staring for so long. After a session of tying hair with full effort, accompanied by flattering words for Shen Xian, finally, Princess Ning was able to leave the estate and return to the palace. After a rather long journey, she met the emperor. Although Empress Dowager Liang and the brocade guard always showed annoyance when the emperor met Princess Ning, he ignored them. As long as he had the chance to see Princess Ning again, he was happy. After meeting with the emperor for a while, she asked him to withdraw because this morning she wanted to meet someone else much more important. That was her sister Yu. As soon as Sister Yu reunited with her younger sister, she was so angry she shouted, "I truly blame myself for being useless. Just because I left the capital on official duty for half a year, Your Highness was forced to marry a eunuch. It is truly pitiful for Your Highness." However, faced with Sister Yu's pity, Princess Ning didn't show much empathy because she wanted to meet her sister for a more important favor. After observing for a while to ensure no one was eavesdropping, Princess Ning dared to speak. "Sister Yu, I have something to ask of you. Please help me investigate Shen Xian. I want to know when he entered the palace and the truth about his demotion by the Directorate of Ceremonial that year. I want to know every single detail. Sister Yu, please help me with this." Faced with Princess Ning's somewhat urgent request, Sister Yu remained silent for a moment before replying. Shen Xian spies are scattered throughout the capital, even everywhere in this country. Investigating him will be hundreds of thousands of times harder than investigating a normal person. But it doesn't matter. The Eastern Depot and the Brocade Guard have always been like water and fire. "Princess, have you ever seen me? This female investigator fears Shen Xian? This matter is indeed much harder than what I usually do, but it is not impossible. However, before I do this for you, Princess, tell me the reason why you want to do this. Only then can I rest assured and help you with all my might." The eldest princess was overjoyed at Sister Yu's easy agreement. She didn't expect Sister Yu to agree so readily. Actually, the reason Sister Yu agreed to this request was simple. When she was young, the men in her family all died on the battlefield. She suddenly became a reluctant orphan, but fortunately, Princess Ning's mother appeared. She took her in and cared for her like her own child, so she always felt indebted to her. Therefore, if Princess Ning had any request, she would naturally help to the best of her ability. That was why she agreed so quickly. Knowing the reason behind Sister Yu's help, Princess Ning actually felt quite embarrassed. She hadn't expected Sister Yu to be someone who repays kindness so deeply. Her mother helping Sister Yu back then was a natural thing to do, but for Yu, it was an immense matter. She would repay her benefactor by any means necessary. Truthfully, if not for finding Shen Xian's weakness, Princess Ning wouldn't dare trouble Sister Yu like this. Princess Ning sighed wearily and said, "I called you here today because I discovered a secret about Shen Xian that might help preserve my life." Hearing this, Sister Yu was very curious. "Eldest princess, what secret have you discovered about Shen Xian?" Facing her sister's bewildered face, Princess Ning quickly replied, "Sister Yu, have you ever heard of eunuchs in the palace not being castrated cleanly? Not castrated cleanly?" Sister Yu fell silent to think for a moment, then replied, "Based on what I've heard up to now, there was a eunuch named Lu Yun who, due to an unclean castration, committed unspeakable acts. He had an affair with an imperial concubine and even got her pregnant. This matter was once widely rumored in the capital. Everyone knew about this shocking scandal. But why do you suddenly mention this, princess? Could it be that the secret you discovered is that Shen Xian is a fake eunuch?" Sister Yu couldn't suppress her surprise and shouted loudly, attracting the attention of the eunuch escorting Princess Ning today. "Oh my God, don't speak so loudly. Actually, I only suspect it. I'm not completely sure. That's why I need your help today, Princess Ning replied urgently. After regaining her composure, Sister Yu suddenly smiled ambiguously and began to reply. But if you want to know if Shen Xian is truly a eunuch or not, shouldn't the person who knows best be you, eldest princess? You are the one sharing a bed with him. More than anyone, you should know best, right? Alright, this sounds difficult, but it's actually very simple. Every time you are with him, just try to reveal a little charm. Just doing that is enough to know if he's a eunuch or not. But if she did that, Princess Ning would easily be despised by him, so it was best to use Plan B. That seemed much more reasonable. Sister Yu paused for a moment and then said, "Has the eldest princess ever heard of the purification room? I heard that after a eunuch is castrated, the cut part is kept with their deed of sale, stored in a bamboo tube to prevent rotting, and finally hung on a roof beam as a precious treasure. If that eunuch passes away later, that precious item is brought back to be buried with him so he can have a complete body in the next life. If we want to know Shan Xian's secret, the only way is to go to that room to investigate. The purification of eunuchs is documented very carefully by the court. The date and time are all recorded. All right, I will help your highness with this matter. You just wait for me at the palace gate. I will go to the purification room to investigate and then report back to you. I surely won't let you down. You trust my ability to work, right?" Honestly, Princess Ning had known Sister Yu since she was very small, but she wasn't very sure about her working ability. But never mind, she just needed to trust Sister Yu this one time. Surely she would succeed. And naturally, today's meeting between Princess Ning and Sister Yu was reported back to Shen Xian by Lin Huan without missing a word. He even wanted to arrest her and bring her here for Shen Xian to interrogate. But Shen Xian felt it wasn't necessary. After all, she had always been neutral and never colluded with anyone. So for now, let her do what she wants. It won't be too late for Shen Xian to act later. Just as Sister Yu had promised Princess Ning, in less than a day, she returned with a wealth of information in hand. According to what she found, Shan Xian had indeed been castrated, and moreover, his precious item was still hanging in the purification room. The eunuch who castrated Shan Xian back then was still working in the office of Imperial Affairs, and Sister Yu went there to ask for clarification. And of course, he recounted exactly what was recorded in the books. He remembered even Shan Xian's gestures and appearance. This proved that Shan Xian becoming a eunuch was real, not a lie as Princess Ning was suspecting. But if she didn't get a hold of a weakness, how could Princess Ning live in peace? Knowing that, this time Sister Yu personally brought back a gift for Princess Ning, an item even more valuable than the secret Princess Ning had earlier. Perhaps she herself couldn't have expected this. Sister Yu actually brought back Shen Xian's precious item for her. Oh my god, needless to say, she just wanted to faint from fear right there. This gift was truly too unexpected for her. Heavens, Princess Ning couldn't believe her eyes anymore. She knew Sister Yu was brave, but even if she fainted and woke up again, she could never have imagined that her sister could retrieve such a shocking thing for her. Although she was terrified right now, after calming herself down, she slowly replied, "Sister Yu, please return this to its place immediately. If Shen Xian finds out, he will definitely investigate both you and me. Then only heaven can save us." However, contrary to Princess Ning's current anxiety, Sister Yu just gave a light smile and spoke. "Your Highness need not fear that. I replaced it early on with a high-quality piece of pork. Surely, no one will discover this matter. Besides, we are only borrowing it for a short time. Could we be so unlucky as to be easily detected like that?" Suddenly, from afar, the sound of a servant calling for the eldest princess echoed over. "Oh no, someone is coming to find us. If we don't run fast, we'll be discovered sooner or later, and then we're really done for." Sister Yu hurriedly urged Princess Ning to take this precious item and hide it. "Your Highness, this method might be a bit underhanded, but one's own safety is most important. If the princess has nothing to threaten him with, she will survive with great difficulty in that eastern depot. So, Princess, please keep this. Someone is coming now. I cannot stay here longer with you. If you need my help later, just send someone for me, and I will definitely be there." And so, even though she didn't want it all, Princess Ning still had to accept this bizarre precious item into her hands. Moreover, it was tucked neatly in her sleeve. How truly terrible. Just as Sister Yu had predicted, the maid and Lin Huan were currently trying hard to find the princess. Luckily, she had put that treasure away in time. If she had let that guy Lin Huan see it, big trouble would certainly have ensued. After moving from the palace back to the Eastern Depot, just as they stepped to the manor gate, Princess Ning immediately dismissed Lin Huan. If she let him follow closely by her side like this, sooner or later, he would discover what was hidden in her sleeve. Therefore, dismissing him right now was the most effective move, keeping him as far away as possible. But there was one thing Princess Ning could not have expected. Inside the manor, there was another huge calamity waiting. Normally, nothing blocked this path. She could just march straight into her southern pavilion. But today was different. Unknown to her, Commander Shun's pet dog was already lying there arrogantly, as if it were lying in wait for Princess Ning's return. Upon seeing its appearance, Princess Ning's soul immediately flew to the 9 heavens. This was bad. This dog's nose was very sharp. If it found out what she was hiding in her sleeve, she would surely be done for. What should she do? Luckily, the maid walking beside Princess Ning, though usually very timid, could not stand by when she saw her master in such danger. She immediately rushed out to block the front so Princess Ning could run elsewhere, because she knew better than anyone that this dog was extremely fierce, especially towards Princess Ning. So if she didn't rush out to shield her master, the princess might be in danger, and at that point, she herself would be done for as well. Princess Ning didn't think anymore. She just ran headlong in another direction, because she knew better than anyone what she was holding. If this dog caught the scent, everything would be in vain. Now, no matter how scared she was, Princess Ning had to run as fast as possible. Only then could she preserve her life. But trying too hard led to disaster. While Princess Ning was using all her effort to run, bad luck struck, causing her to trip and fall flat on the ground. The thing she had kept hidden so carefully in her sleeve flew out, making her feel extremely panicked because she knew better than anyone that something bad was about to happen. And true to Princess Ning's intuition, that clever dog quickly appeared in front of her and bit the bag containing Commander Shen's thing. Quick as a flash, ignoring her screaming, it tore the bag open deliciously, and moreover, without hesitation, it sent that thing straight into its stomach, as if it were very nutritious. At this point, Princess Ning completely collapsed, only able to blame herself for being so useless. She couldn't even run properly. She was truly hopeless. Oh heavens, what to do with this dog? Oh heavens, the treasure she had guarded all this time was eaten by this devil. What to do now? Princess Ning was truly, utterly helpless, knowing nothing else but to collapse on the ground. But it seemed this dog didn't know the meaning of the word limit. It had just eaten the most precious thing Princess Ning had worked so hard to obtain. Yet, it showed no remorse, blatantly burping loudly in front of her. It was truly beyond words. That burp seemed to reach Princess Ning's final limit. She immediately rushed in front of the dog and strangled it hard. While strangling, she shouted loudly, "Hurry up and vomit it out for this princess." Do you hear what this princess is saying? Vomit it all out now, hurry up. This fierce action from Princess Ning terrified the usually stubborn dog. It backed away with a look of extreme suspicion. Strange, why is the eldest princess so fierce with me today? Usually, if I just run a few laps, the princess is already scared. Why did she suddenly rush over to strangle me today? I really can't understand. Ignoring the dog's bewildered look and the maid's desperate attempts to stop her, Princess Ning had no intention of sparing this beast. She screamed loudly, "Release me quickly. I must cut open its belly and dig out its heart to get that damn thing out." Oh heavens, how could it do that to this princess? Suddenly, while she was at her angriest, a noise came from behind her. "Eldest princess, whose belly are you saying you want to cut open, and whose heart do you want to dig out?" Hearing this sentence, a jolt of electricity ran through her body. Oh heavens, has her greatest fear appeared already? Princess Ning suddenly imagined a scenario. If Commander Shin knew his precious item was eaten by this beast, he would probably bury her alive right here. What to do now? Oh heavens. While she didn't know how to handle the situation, the dog in front of her suddenly vomited up what it had just eaten. Seeing this scene, Princess Ning seemed to freeze to the point of deathly silence. Oh heavens, why did this dog vomit at such a sensitive time? If it vomited something abnormal, how would she explain it to everyone present right now? Seeing his well-cared-for pet suddenly vomiting so uncomfortably, Commander Shun turned to Princess Ning to question her. Your Highness, what did you feed my hunting dog? Why is it vomiting so much? Princess Ning truly didn't know how to answer at this moment. Could she say, that little dog just ate your most precious thing? Surely he wouldn't remain calm enough to question her like this if she did. So Princess Ning could only fabricate the most reasonable excuse to answer Commander Shin. I didn't give it to him. He ate it automatically. Even though it was just a small piece of pork belly, I don't know why he vomited so much. Hearing this, Commander Shun was a bit startled. Is that so? Just a small piece of pork belly. Why is the princess so terrified? I can't blame him for this. It's just that my dog is too gluttonous. Regarding this matter, I should be the one apologizing to the princess. All right then, princess. Today I came here to take the princess for horse riding lessons, as I promised earlier. Let's go quickly, princess, or we won't make it in time. Princess Ning had actually predicted this from the start, so she had instructed her maid that when Commander Shin said this, she should ask for permission for her to skip the riding lesson for a day. Then she would use the excuse that she was unwell and couldn't practice. Only then could she easily escape. But before the maid could say anything, Princess Ning quickly replied, leaving the maid beside her equally bewildered. Fine. You wait here a moment. This princess will change clothes and return immediately. This unusually obedient attitude from Princess Ning not only surprised the maid, but also surprised Commander Shun standing nearby. Strange. Why has Princess Ning suddenly become so obedient today? Is there some secret she is hiding from me? When she finished changing and came out, she didn't forget to ask about the health of the pet dog earlier to see if Commander Shun had discovered anything unusual. But luckily, his attitude towards her was still gentle. Surely he hasn't discovered anything unusual, right? So, according to the promise made earlier, today Commander Shun took Princess Ning to practice horse riding. However, it seemed this horse was too big for her. Seeing the large black horse appear in front of her, Princess Ning couldn't avoid the panic in her eyes. But even if she fainted right here, she had to finish the lesson. Otherwise, Commander Shun wouldn't let her off easily. Although she tried very hard, Princess Ning simply couldn't climb onto this horse no matter what. She couldn't even reach the stirrup, let alone climb up. And naturally, at times like this, she needed Commander Shun to help her. Immediately, with Commander Shun's enthusiastic assistance, Princess Ning was able to sit securely on the horse's back. After learning just a few basic steps, because the horse was too big, Princess Ning couldn't control it no matter what she did. So she just tumbled down towards the ground, but luckily, Commander Shin was waiting there and caught her. Just when she thought the calamity had passed, a more troublesome issue arose. The moment Commander Shin caught her was also the moment their eyes met. The two pairs of eyes seemed to speak. They looked at each other with great affection. At this moment, Princess Ning felt extremely shy. She didn't know how many times she had been face to face with Commander Shun at such a close distance. But no matter how many times it happened, she still felt exactly like the first time, still shy and blushing just the same. Commander Shun was much more composed at this moment. He no longer felt awkward facing Princess Ning at such close range. He looked at her and spoke in a familiar stern voice. You must hold the reins tightly. Don't move around recklessly like that. Why are you leaving your feet hanging like that? Put your feet in the stirrups and clamp your calves tight. Don't grip the horse too tightly. What you are doing will make it angry. Relax. This commander is here. I won't let you fall. Although Commander Shun continuously offered words of encouragement, Princess Ning's condition showed no signs of improving. She slowly followed Commander Shun's instructions in a panic, truly not understanding why she had to learn this discipline. But luckily, after a process of dedicated guidance and advice from Commander Shun, Princess Ning was finally able to control the large horse herself. The eunuchs watching everything from a distance were surprised. Everyone marveled because they had never seen this side of the commander before. Perhaps the person closest to the commander was Lin Huan, but he was more surprised than anyone. Until now, he had never seen the commander treat anyone so patiently, and especially toward a woman like this. such a thing was even more forbidden to happen. But today, the commander suddenly became so strange. He patiently guided Princess Ning bit by bit, making even Lin Huan feel it was odd. Indeed, eldest Princess Ning is the commander's exception, seeing that the eldest princess was still not truly confident with this horse. So after observing for a while, Shan Xian decided to climb up behind Ning, guiding the princess to control the horse more easily. Indeed, with Shan Xian sitting behind her, Ning felt much safer. Normally, she hated having to touch this eunuch, but for some reason, today, she felt a very strange sensation, as if she were being protected by a real man, not a eunuch. Seeing this affectionate scene right before his eyes, Lin Huan couldn't help but feel a bit wistful. Biting into the bun in his mouth, Lin Huan sighed and whispered, "The commander and madam are so affectionate with each other. I wonder if I'll be like that in the future. I don't know if I can love a girl in the future. If possible, I also want to ride a horse together like that. It's so affectionate that it makes people jealous." The old eunuch standing nearby found it very funny hearing that. He laughed heartily and replied, "Oh my heavens, has my brat grown up this fast already? Wasn't it just the other day you were asking me for sweets, and now you're thinking about romance? And even wanted to find a wife for yourself? You really have grown up." Hearing Lin Huan say that, the eldest princess found it very cute. She laughed and added, "Eunuch Lin, don't worry too much. Sooner or later, you'll find a woman you like. After all, Lin means forest, and forests naturally have many birds, so don't worry about having no one." This joke of Ning's really made the atmosphere today suddenly much less tense. Everyone felt extremely happy at this remark of hers. Only Shan Xian did not feel that way. Disregarding that everyone else was beaming with laughter, he was not like that for some unknown reason. Truly, after a tiring day of practice, Ning was released home to rest. Perhaps she missed this bed very much today. Although her body was at the horse riding practice all day, her soul remained stuck here on this warm bed. But not long after she lay down to rest, suddenly a shrill laugh echoed, making her startle. Not only was she scared, but the maid next to her was too. Everyone was terrified by this laughter. It turned out this shrill laughter in the night came from Shan Xian's place. It was incomprehensible why, in such a quiet night, he would laugh like a madman. It was truly unfathomable. After listening for a while, Ning finally realized one thing. It turned out that only now did he get Ning's joke from this afternoon. Now that he understood, he laughed out loud in the night like that. Truly Shan Xian, doing everything differently from others. Just a joke makes him think for that long. Truly helpless. It was hard for Ning to get a good sleep, but this sleep didn't last long either. Only around the third quarter of the Mao hour, she was woken up by loud noises outside. Who knows who would be active at this late hour? It turned out the sound from outside was the Eastern Depot guards practicing early in the morning. This is the regular routine of the Eastern Depot, so it's this noisy every morning. It's just that Ning only heard it this morning. Ning felt annoyed being woken up early, but she also felt extremely lucky because without their noise, she would have overslept. Originally, this morning was the Empress Dowager's birthday, so she had to wake up early to prepare properly. But because practicing with Shan Xian yesterday was too tiring, she slept a bit past the time. Without this noise, she would have been late for the Empress Dowager's birthday celebration. Ning was still half asleep, but when she saw the outfit of the maid in front of her, she immediately woke up completely. Knowing today was the Empress Dowager's birthday, and Thursday Hong was the person the Empress Dowager bestowed upon her, it wasn't strange for her to wear makeup and dress up more than usual. But looking at Thursday Hong's outfit and makeup today, it seemed a bit inappropriate for the Eastern Depot. But anyway, today is the birthday of Thursday Hong's old master. Ning thought she probably wanted to attend the Empress Dowager's birthday with her, so she took the trouble to dress up like this. After thinking for a while, Ning decided to ask, "Thursday Hong, do you want to enter the palace to meet the Empress Dowager with me today? If you want, can we leave now, or we won't make it in time?" But contrary to what Ning thought, Thursday Hong replied gently, "Your Highness, today Xia Lu and Dong Hui will enter the palace with you. Because this servant is just a maid bestowed upon your highness by the Empress Dowager, I am not as close to you as the two of them. I fear my way of speaking is not suitable and will make you unhappy, so this servant willingly stays home." Hearing this, Ning understood Thursday Hong's intentions. She said nothing, only approached and wiped a bit of the lipstick thicker than her face with her hand, then spoke. "You want to stay home alone today? In this house full of dangerous traps. You still want to stay alone? You're quite brave. But fine, if that is your wish, I won't force you. But you must be very careful. Don't let anything bad happen to yourself. Otherwise, I will be very worried. Having said that, Ning quickly settled down so the other maids could help her prepare to attend the Empress Dowager's birthday. After everything was ready, she moved outside to meet Shun Xian. Then the two would go to the palace together to attend the birthday celebration. But as soon as he met her, Shun Xian immediately spoke. The Empress Dowager's birthday gift has been prepared. You should quickly have breakfast. Then Jiang Yi will take you into the palace to attend the ceremony. Today I have to go to the prison to hear the records, so I cannot go with you. I hope your highness will allow my absence. Hearing this, Ning was very happy. Finally, there was a day she was liberated from this hateful guy. Her body felt so comfortable. But suddenly a strong wind blew, making Ning feel cold to the bone and sneeze loudly, startling Shun Xian standing next to her. Immediately, he took the fur coat prepared beforehand next to him and continued. It seems snow will fall heavier today, so the weather won't be as pleasant as yesterday. It just so happens I have a fur coat here that was just offered as tribute. So put it on. Don't let your body catch a cold. Near evening, this commander will enter the palace to pick you up. You can rest assured and attend the Empress Dowager's birthday happily. At the moment Shun Xian draped that warm fur coat over Ning, she immediately realized that it seemed the crazy guy in front of her wasn't much of a demon. He was just a guy slow to express emotions. Moreover, apart from his cold expressions, there was nothing hateful about him in her eyes anymore. So, after being dressed properly by her husband for a while, finally Ning was present to attend the Empress Dowager's birthday ceremony. Not long after meeting, the Empress Dowager spoke sarcastically to this daughter who shared no blood relation with her. Ning's birthday gift is indeed prepared very thoughtfully. All are tributes that are rare to find. But there is one thing that I cannot stop wondering about. That is, today Ning comes here and presents these precious gifts. Is it on behalf of the Eastern Depot, or is it solely your own heart? Hearing this question from the Empress Dowager, Ning understood the deep intentions within. But ignoring those sarcastic words, Ning just smiled brightly and replied very gently. Answering the Empress Dowager, of course, it is presented on behalf of your daughter's subject. Moreover, no matter who I represent, am I not still a subject of the Shao family? And of course, how could the Empress Dowager forget the vial of poison she gave Ning? It had been a long time with no response from Ning, and she truly felt very impatient. Responding to the Empress Dowager's anticipation, Ning could only slowly reply. What kind of place the Eastern Depot is, the Empress Dowager already knows. How could they easily let your daughter subject make a move? Moreover, haven't you found a replacement for me? So why do you still ask about this matter? Hearing Ning say that, the Empress Dowager felt extremely surprised. How could Ning know so quickly? The Empress Dowager looked at Ning with a bewildered gaze and spoke. Since when did you know about that? Just this morning. Thursday Hong is usually a very simple maid. So why did she stay in the manor this morning and go nowhere, yet put on makeup and dress so carefully? Needless to say the intention clearly, a sharp person would know at a glance, right? Empress Dowager, seeing that Ning had become such a sharp person since following her husband to his manor, the Empress Dowager felt very surprised. She laughed heartily and said, "Isn't it because you disappointed me too much? It's not difficult to understand that I mobilized another person so the plan could proceed faster. Don't you think that's correct?" Ning did not blame the Empress Dowager at this moment. She just quietly withdrew and thought to herself. The law of nature is that bamboo shoots replace old bamboo. And with someone as ambitious as the Empress Dowager, she would want her goal to succeed by any means, so no one could be blamed. Thus, the Empress Dowager's birthday celebration ended here. Ning quickly moved outside and immediately met someone from the brocade guard. He bowed to Ning and spoke. "Your subject, the governor of the brocade guard, greets eldest Princess Ning." Perhaps besides Governor Neo, whom Ning met after the audience with the Empress Dowager, there was still another person who walked past her, giving her an extremely chilling feeling that she never wanted to meet again. That was the master of the brocade guard. After waiting for Ning to finish her audience with the Empress Dowager, he quickly entered inside to meet his lover. Immediately when the Empress Dowager saw him, her expression became much gentler. "My beloved official, you make me so impatient. I spent so much effort using Ning to restrain Shun Xian's power, Yet not long after, you rush to make a move. What are you afraid of? The assassination attempt at the palace gate last time failed. I fear he has taken precautions. Taking his life, next time, will surely be very difficult. Responding to the Empress Dowager's reproaches, he could only lower his voice gently and speak. Please forgive this subject, Your Majesty. It was only because I could not bear to see you worrying day and night about these unpleasant matters that I acted so hastily. I did not expect it to alert the enemy. I beg your forgiveness 1,000 times. Seeing his attitude like that of a kitten, the Empress Dowager smiled shyly and replied, All right then, who could bear to punish you? Come closer so I can look at your face. It has been so long since we met, I have missed you dearly. Hearing this, he happily approached and continued, Is the Emperor still the same these days, Your Majesty? It is truly a waste of a woman as talented and beautiful as you. But there is one thing I have never understood. The late Emperor had 2 sons, did he not? Why did you choose to assassinate only King Jing? Why did you spare that brat Xiao Huan? If you had supported the wise King Jing to the throne, wouldn't you have saved yourself the trouble of restraining that madman from the Eastern Depot? If you had assassinated the right person back then, surely you wouldn't feel as tired and worried as you do now. Hearing this, the Empress Dowager gave a slight smirk and replied, According to your words, is a weak person easier to control and manipulate? If I supported someone too intelligent, wouldn't that be raising a tiger within myself? If one day he suddenly turned and bit me, how could I resist? Do you think what I say is correct? Moreover, I was originally born into a family of generals. If I hadn't been forced to marry into this deep palace, perhaps I would be by your side right now. But if things don't go as planned, it doesn't matter. I can still support you in military matters, can I not? Furthermore, do not concern yourself too much with Ning. She is merely a pawn that can be sacrificed at any time. She is actually quite intelligent, not as foolish as you and I often think. Outwardly, she always appears to comply with my requests, but deep down, she does exactly what she wants. She is truly a formidable girl. That is why I had to send her childhood friend, Governor Ngu, to follow and watch over her. Who knows, if we are lucky, we might even learn some secrets about the Eastern Depot through her mouth, so just let her do as she pleases. The Empress Dowager sighed heavily and said, All right, today is supposed to be my happy day, isn't it? Let's not talk about such troublesome matters anymore. I only wish to be beside my beloved subject. The scene then shifted to outside the palace gate. At this moment, Ning still could not understand why he was here. But after a moment of thought, she guessed it. Wasn't he the fiancé of the Empress Dowager's daughter? It was not strange for him to be present today to celebrate the Empress Dowager's birthday. Ning seemed unaccustomed to the weather outside. Just stepping out of the Empress Dowager's palace for a moment, the cold wind made her sneeze so much she could hardly breathe. Seeing Ning sneezing continuously, Governor Ngu quickly spoke up to inquire about her health. But before Governor Ngu could show his concern for Ning, a loud shout came from behind, startling both of them. It turned out to be Princess Wan, the beloved daughter of the Empress Dowager. Seeing her future husband caring for Ning like that, she could not bear it and immediately screamed, Xiao Zhongding, stay away from Yu Yinqing, will you? You know very well that Governor Ngu is now my husband, so why are you talking so intimately? Ning was not one to be trifled with. She immediately retorted, I have no interest in your husband. It was your husband who initiated the conversation with me, so I reluctantly replied, If you are so afraid of me stealing your husband, then go home and tie him up tight. Do not let your husband come near me again. Hearing Ning answer like that, Wan felt incredibly furious. She rushed in front of the eldest princess and shouted loudly, You arrogant eunuch's wife, you want to leave without clarifying things? Is it because that eunuch Shen could not satisfy you that you are acting like this? Truly shameless beyond words. Hearing Princess Wan's words, Ning could not accept them. She did not particularly like that eunuch, but Wan knew nothing about Shen, yet dared to judge him like that. It was truly unacceptable. Ning brushed her hand away and continued, If I am arrogant, I have the status to be so. What right do you have to stop me? Governor Ngu, who had been standing still watching everything, felt that the situation was about to escalate, so he spoke up to stop it. Wan, do not be so angry. It will harm your health. It was I who took the initiative to discuss the past with the eldest princess. It has nothing to do with her otherwise. Shen, standing not far away, had grasped the whole situation, but he did not want to intervene yet because he wanted to see how Ning would handle this situation. Just as Shen Xian had hoped, Ning made her voice stern and spoke loudly in front of Princess Wanan. So what if he is a eunuch? At least they do not use their power to bully the weak, nor do they harm innocent people without cause. Moreover, compared to ordinary people, they have only lost the means to continue their lineage, unlike heartless people like you, who are truly pitiful. Hearing these words from Ning, Shan Xian was extremely satisfied. He had not expected Ning to be so sensible. Normally, she only knows how to oppose me in a manner, yet today she knows how to speak up in defense of the Eastern Depot. It really surprises me. But perhaps Princess Wanan could no longer endure Ning's sarcastic words. She quickly rushed forward, wanting to give Ning a painful slap to make her remember. However, Wan An's intention was quickly thwarted. Unbeknownst to them, Shun Xian had appeared and blocked Wan An's angry slap. Facing Princess Wan An's face filled with rage, Shun Xian quickly spoke up. Princess Wanan, have you ever thought about the terrible consequences of delivering such a brutal slap in front of others? At this moment, Princess Wanan seemed to have lost all reason. She no longer knew right from wrong and screamed like a wild beast. Who are you? You insolent eunuch. Seeing his future wife being bullied, Governor Ngu quickly ran over to intervene and shouted, Commander Shun, you must not be so rude to Her Highness the Princess. Shun Xian did not care much about these two puppets. He quickly pushed Princess Wanan towards her husband, Governor Ngu, and continued speaking. I, Shun, have always been known for being incredibly insolent. It matters not if I am a little more insolent now. Furthermore, the one who was rude to the eldest princess first was you, not anyone else. Besides, the eldest princess is my wife. How can I not step in to protect her? Hearing Shun Xian's arrogant words, Princess Wanan was furious and shouted, I will definitely report this to the Empress Dowager. I will make sure that even if you ascend to heaven to see your ancestors, you will not have a patch of earth to be buried in. Just you wait and see. Shun Xian was not afraid of these threats at all. He smiled and replied, Princess Wanan, go ahead and try. I'm also waiting to see what the Empress Dowager can do to me to avenge this princess. Afterward, seeming to feel she could do nothing against this stubborn man, Princess Wanan quickly left in anger. At this moment, the most confused person was probably Princess Ning. She did not know why, but ever since Shun Xian appeared, she had a very strange feeling. He appeared with a broad back to shield her, and even said such ambiguous words. Was it all an act? She did not know if this was his performance, but why did she feel so strange, as if he was being very sincere and true to her? Shun Xian seemed not to notice the confusion on Ning's face. He just held Ning's hand tightly and dragged her away unconsciously. But after walking a long distance and seeing that Ning remained silent, Shun Xian stopped and asked Ning, Princess, do you not recognize me anymore? Do not pay too much attention to what I said earlier. Actually, from the past until now, I have been the type of person who repays kindness and revenge. I do not like to owe anyone favors, so I said those words. I have no other intentions, so please do not misunderstand, Princess. It was then that Ning was shocked to realize that Shun Xian had heard her entire conversation with Princess Wanan. It was truly embarrassing. But didn't you tell me this morning that you couldn't attend the Empress Dowager's birthday celebration? Why are you here now? Hearing this, Shun Xian suddenly switched to a serious tone and replied, Who told you I came here to celebrate the Empress Dowager's birthday? I came here to find you to settle a debt. You suspected early on that the maid would harass me, didn't you? Your Highness need not pretend to be stupid anymore. I know everything. Ever since you left, that maid put on heavy makeup and dressed revealingly. She even burned aphrodisiac incense. Did she not intend to seduce this commander? But unfortunately for her, the plan failed quickly. She essentially had no chance to get close to me, not even a step. This commander came to find your Highness today just to ask one thing. Ultimately, did you arrange these matters? The more he spoke, the more Shun Xian pressed Ning against the wall, making it impossible for her to breathe. Facing Shun Xian's tense attitude, Ning could only timidly reply, I had no such intention. Thursday Hong is originally the Empress Dowager's maid. I don't need to say it for you to understand the intention, right? Only then did Shun Xian realize with shock that he had suspected the wrong person. Yet, for some reason, just as Shun Xian relaxed the atmosphere a little, Ning suddenly burst into tears and then fainted into Shun Xian's arms. After fainting due to a high fever, Ning could no longer know anything. Why was she suddenly brought back to the manor? She was clearly in the Empress Dowager's palace just a moment ago. Why was she here now? Suddenly, Ning felt that the person holding her right now resembled her royal father so much that she couldn't help but utter, "Royal father." Shun Xian was startled, but, seeing her high fever and unconscious state, quickly scooped her up into his arms and carried her back to the manor. After reassuring herself for a moment, Ning realized that the person holding her was not her royal father, but Shun Xian. Suddenly, a wave of shyness washed over Ning, making her blush furiously. Summoning all her remaining courage, she lightly hit Shun Xian and said, "All right, put this princess down immediately. Letting people around see us like this makes me feel truly embarrassed." But of course, how could Shun Xian easily comply with Ning's wishes? He continued walking for a while longer, then began to speak sternly. "Stop moving around so much. You are currently suffering from a wind cold, so I need to take you back to the manor for treatment. Don't be stubborn, just lie still." Honestly, Ning was feeling incredibly exhausted right now. But looking around, she saw all the servants in the manor casting their gazes toward her, making her feel shy and now even more embarrassed. Regardless of the fact that Shun Xian did not agree to let her down, she still desperately pounded on his chest painfully and replied, "This princess can walk on her own. Put me down immediately." She said it, but Shun Xian did not change his demeanor in the slightest. Ning was so helpless she coughed aloud, looking truly pitiful. Seeing his wife, sick yet still so headstrong, Shun Xian simply replied coldly, "You are sick. Save your breath to protect your body. Don't be so obstinate. Now is not the time for you to act strong. Wait until you recover, then you can do whatever you want." Suddenly, these words from Shun Xian truly affected Ning. This was the first time she felt that he could be so warm. Since her father emperor passed away, it had been a long time since she felt the sensation of someone carrying her so gently like this. Suddenly, she drifted off in her exhaustion, and her dream took her back to a very intimate conversation from when her mother consort was still alive. Although she was just a child back then, she was already extremely curious. She always wondered why, when her mother married her father already had an empress by his side. Moreover, the suitors lining up for her mother were so numerous one couldn't count them all in a year. So why did her mother agree to marry a man who already had a wife like her father? Faced with this extremely innocent question from Ning, her mother just smiled gently and replied, "Your father emperor was only just 13 when he married. How could a child like that know anything about marriage? It was merely following the arrangement of his parents, taking the daughter of a powerful official as a wife. Aside from that, how could he know if he liked her or not? Therefore, even though I did not obtain the Phoenix Crown of the Realm, I do not feel any regret, because no matter what, I know that I have obtained something much more precious, a piece of the Emperor's true heart." Hearing her mother explain this, Ning became even more confused. How could you tell? How could you be certain that Father Emperor would have feelings for you? Actually, this story requires going back to the past a little, my dear Ning. The year I was 16, I followed your maternal grandfather to go hunting with the royal family. But unfortunately, I sprained my ankle, and it hurt so much I couldn't stand up anymore. So, I could only sit still in one place and endure the pain. There were many people around at that time, but only your father came to check my injury. After examining it, your father emperor saw that my injury was somewhat serious and couldn't be self-treated. It required someone with expertise. But at that moment, the imperial physician was nowhere to be found. So, your father didn't hesitate to carry me on his back for half an hour to reach the military doctor's tent. From start to finish, I lay on his back without opening my mouth to say anything. Your father emperor was the same, but I could feel very clearly that his heart was beating very fast. At that moment, I knew the answer. This was the boy, the man I had been waiting for all this time. I hope that later, my daughter will also find someone who loves her that much. My little Ning will definitely find the person she considers the true son of heaven of her life. Wait until you are a little older, and you will be able to understand one thing. There is a person who makes you feel at peace, unafraid of rain or shine, always ready to stand up and protect you before the storms of life. When that time comes, you can be certain that you have met the right person. Only then will you become a true princess, Ning. Suddenly, the story stopped there, and Ning abruptly woke up. She herself didn't understand why she suddenly recalled things from the past. It was truly very strange. That night, Ning continued to run a high fever without ceasing, causing Shun Xian to worry and stay by her side, caring for her endlessly. While using a warm towel to wipe Ning's face to reduce the fever, Shun Xian silently thought to himself, "No wonder she can't jump around today. Conversely, I'm a bit unaccustomed to it. This appearance right now is nothing like her arrogant demeanor from 6 years ago. She looks truly adorable." Speaking of 6 years ago, he remembered. After she finished punishing him, she also ordered a servant to bring a warm towel, just like this, to him, and said, "Quickly wipe your face. The eldest princess saw that your face was full of wounds, so she ordered me to bring this. Wipe it quickly. Don't let yourself look so unsightly." After a night of delirious fever, this morning Ning was able to wake up on her own without anyone calling her. Immediately after waking up, she suddenly felt something was a bit strange. "It seems because I had a high fever yesterday, I became delirious. Why would I dream of Shun Xian taking care of me? That is truly too strange." However, that thought quickly vanished from Ning's mind. Curling herself tightly in the blanket in fear, she thought, "Fine, let's not think about that scary thing anymore. After all, it was just a dream. Don't think about that name. Just mentioning it scares me. Otherwise, my illness will get worse." Afterward, to make her body feel lighter, Ning decided to take a bath. She hadn't touched water all day yesterday. But who could have expected that when Ning finished bathing and returned to her room, she would see the sight of Shun Xian already standing there? Just seeing Ning appear, Shun Xian immediately spoke up in a very stern manner. "The wind outside is very cold. Your Highness, be a bit careful. Your body is just recovered from a wind cold. If you catch a draft, what am I supposed to do?" Saying this, before letting Ning react to his demands, he immediately stepped forward and pulled her inside the room. Being pulled into the room by Shun Xian, perhaps due to the sudden change in temperature, Ning coughed a few times, looking quite distressed. Seeing his wife coughing dryly like that, Shun Xian quickly draped his own coat over her and continued, "Your Highness, tell me, was my warning wrong? You caught a draft, see?" Seeing the Princess Highness staring absorbedly at his coat for a while, Shun Xian actually felt very impatient, so he spoke up to ask, "Eldest Princess, do you have nothing you want to say to me?" Seeing Shun Xian's attitude, Ning knew for sure he wanted to talk about Thursday Hong, so she hurriedly replied, "Are you wanting to mention Thursday Hong? How is Thursday Hong right now?" Shun Xian smiled slightly and replied, "That servant Thursday Hong has improper character. She tried to seduce me but failed. She is currently being held in the dungeon of the Eastern Depot. How does your Highness wish to handle her?" Just as Ning had thought, he wanted her to think of a way to deal with this traitorous servant. However, contrary to Shun Xian's expectations, Ning just waved her hand lightly and said, "Fine then, you can handle her however you want. After all, she is the servant the Empress Dowager bestowed upon me. Perhaps I should be thanking you, right? Anyway, you helped me remove a monitor from my side, so I feel much more mentally at ease. I give you full authority to decide how to handle that servant. Eldest Princess, do you really have nothing else you want to say to me?" Only then did Ning realize one thing. There was just one more matter. He surely wanted to mention that. Ning swallowed and spoke up, "All right, thank you for the coat. It has helped me feel much less cold." Shun Xian at this moment looked like someone whose itch had just been scratched. He laughed out loud and said, "For the princess to speak her true feelings is truly difficult. Besides, the weather has just turned cold, and the princess has already caught a wind cold." Honestly, although he teased Ning like that, in reality, he was still very worried about her. He reached out to help tuck the messy hair on her forehead while saying, "This sickly, weak appearance of yours makes one feel a bit of pity, so please recover quickly. I don't want to look at this weak little mouse appearance of yours forever." So, after instructing Ning on all sorts of things, Shun Xian also left to give Ning comfortable space to rest. But that seemed to be the last time she saw Shun Xian. For several days after that, she didn't see Shun Xian anywhere. The atmosphere of the Eastern Depot became deserted because of it. Who knew where Shun Xian had disappeared to? He didn't even come to visit Ning once. Honestly speaking, she felt she missed Shun Xian a little. She really hoped to see Shun Xian right now, even if just for one time. After many days of waiting, but never seeing Shun Xian return, Ning truly felt incredibly anxious. Never had she seen Shun Xian gone for so long. Suddenly, one night while she was sleeping soundly, she heard a loud noise from outside. Acting on instinct, she sat up immediately, and the first thing she did was turn to ask the servant. "It seems something just happened outside. I just heard a very loud noise." "Yes, reporting to your highness. That was the sound made by the cavalry troops. Commander Shun has returned." The moment Ning heard this news from the servant, her heart truly felt like a drum beating automatically inside her. It was all chaotic, making her not know what to do. Then, after a moment of calm thinking, she decided she would not go to see Shen Xian. Who was he to dare leave her for so long? This princess won't bother going to see him. But the eldest princess's actions were completely contrary to what she thought. Indeed, who could predict the actions of a person in love? So, the next morning, Ning woke up very early, causing the servant to feel incredibly surprised. "Oh my heavens, why is the eldest princess up so early this morning? It hasn't even reached the tiger hour yet, but the princess has already started waking up to brush her teeth and wash her face." How could the servant suspect that there must be some motivation for the eldest princess to wake up so early? And naturally, that motivation had just returned late last night. After preparing everything perfectly, Ning immediately set out to go see Shen Xian. But after arriving at the place for breakfast, he was nowhere to be seen, causing Ning to feel extremely puzzled. Looking around for a while, but still not seeing Shen Xian, Ning boldly stepped up to ask a servant, "Where is Commander Shen? Didn't he return last night? Why is he nowhere to be seen this morning?" The servant smiled gently and replied, "Reporting to the eldest princess, the commander just went to rest at the 5th watch. Counting to now, it has only been about 2 hours. He probably won't wake up until at least 9 or 10 o'clock." Hearing this information, Ning immediately felt unhappy. She cleared her throat and continued, "Has Shen Xian been very busy these past few days? Why didn't I see him return at night? And now his days are reversed too. Who on earth returns home when everyone is fast asleep and wakes up when the day is already past noon like that?" Ning asked this because she suspected a few things. Last night, she heard the servants say he had just returned from the court. But isn't the court Hua Ji's territory? For him to ride there alone like that? The situation in the imperial court must be extremely tense right now. If only she could extract a little information from his close servants, that would be great. It wouldn't help anything, but it would make her a little less curious. But of course, how would these servants dare to reveal anything? Indeed, Ning was not surprised by this. Where's this place, anyway? Isn't it the Eastern Depot, famous for keeping secrets? How could they let any confidential information leak out to her? Fine then, if you don't want to let me know, I won't force you. So, after finishing breakfast, Ning quickly returned to her room to practice calligraphy. But for some reason, today was very strange. No matter how carefully she wrote, the handwriting just wouldn't look good, as if some force was affecting her. After trying for a while and still failing to write beautifully, she officially went mad and scribbled all over the paper meant for writing. After furiously ruining the paper, Ning finally calmed down a bit and started questioning herself. Good heavens, why did I suddenly become so hot-tempered? I've never been like this before, have I? My current state of mind is incredibly uneasy. Why do I feel this inexplicably restless? Oh my God, what is wrong with me? Suddenly, Ning paused for a moment and thought to herself, could it be that I'm like this because of that Shen Xian? I have to go see him for this anxiety to stop. But surely I can't just go see him in this boring state. There must be something else, right? Indeed, Ning was not surprised by this. Where is this place, anyway? Isn't it the Eastern Depot, famous for keeping secrets? How could they let any confidential information leak out to her? Fine then, if you don't want to let me know, I won't force you. So, after finishing breakfast, Ning quickly returned to her room to practice calligraphy. But for some reason, today was very strange. No matter how carefully she wrote, the handwriting just wouldn't look good, as if some force was affecting her. After trying for a while and still failing to write beautifully, she officially went mad and scribbled all over the paper meant for writing. After furiously ruining the paper, Ning finally calmed down a bit and started questioning herself. Good heavens, why did I suddenly become so hot-tempered? I've never been like this before, have I? My current state of mind is incredibly uneasy. Why do I feel this inexplicably restless? Oh my God, what is wrong with me? Suddenly, Ning paused for a moment and thought to herself, could it be that I'm like this because of that Xin Xian? I have to go see him for this anxiety to stop. But surely I can't just go see him in this boring state. There must be a reason, right? So, after thinking for a long time, Ning called out loudly, Dawn Tuesday, are there any meatballs and plum blossom cakes left? If there are, bring a portion here for me. So, after the food was fully prepared, Ning headed straight to Shun Xian's room. Ning held a large tray of breakfast in her hands. After some hesitation, she decided to go inside to meet Shun Xian. But she had only just stepped through the door when she was scared out of her wits by Shun Xian's pet dog. Seeing his pet dog scare Ning like that, Shun Xian sighed and said, the weather has suddenly turned cold these past few days, so it caught a bad cold, plus it's injured. So, it probably feels uncomfortable, which is why it keeps coming in here to lie by the fireplace. All right, little puppy, hurry up and go outside. Don't stay here and scare the eldest princess anymore. So, after Shun Xian's pet dog was chased out, Ning could finally enter safely and greet Shun Xian politely. Seeing Shun Xian's attitude, which showed no sign of joy, Ning actually felt quite displeased, but she still wanted to talk to him properly. So she stepped forward and took the initiative to speak. I brought some breakfast for you. Eat it quickly, or it will get cold. Although Shun Xian saw Ning's very sincere attitude, he didn't seem to care much. He just glanced at it briefly and replied, all right, leave it there. I'll eat it in a bit. Hearing this answer from Shun Xian, Ning was extremely puzzled. He hasn't eaten all night, and he just woke up this morning. Isn't he hungry? And yet he refuses to eat. The food I brought is about to get cold. Seeing that Ning had come to find him and stayed for a long while without saying anything, Shun Xian felt impatient. So he spoke up to ask, why did your highness come to find me so early today? Is there something you wish to petition me for? After a moment of silence, Ning suddenly realized that her presence in front of Shun Xian was not invisible, so she replied, there's nothing in particular. I just came here today to thank the commander. That's all. Thank me. Shun Xian asked in surprise, didn't your highness already say those words of thanks to this subject when you woke up from your fever? Why repeat them now? At this moment, completely different from her usual personality, Ning did not lose her temper with Shun Xian, but calmly spoke. Actually, this thank you is not like the thanks I said to you before. This is not a thank you for getting rid of Thursday Hong, nor is it for the coat you draped over me that day. This thank you is for the commander for sparing my life, for not having the heart to take my life away. Although she was a bit annoyed because her joke wasn't very successful, Ning still smiled and continued, thank you for your care over the past few days, Commander. If it weren't for the commander being by my side to inquire and care for me, my body would probably have ascended to heaven to meet my ancestors by now. Shun Xian heard this and didn't say anything. He just smiled with great satisfaction, then took out a small notebook from his person and started writing something down. Suddenly, Ning felt very panic-stricken. What on earth is he writing? And then, she suddenly remembered something equally important. The servants had told her that the brocade guard and the Eastern Depot always carry the Book of Impermanence with them. This is a notebook used specifically to record and monitor the words and deeds of hundreds of officials. Based on it, one can determine the punishment for each person if they happen to make a small mistake, or it could cost them their life if the crime is too great. Ning felt her body heating up with anxiety. Don't tell me that's that book. You don't need to worry too much about this book. Actually, it's nothing too scary, Shun Xian replied. The truth is, ever since this commander took responsibility for managing the Eastern Depot, the number of times I've been cursed to my face is not small. So, it's very rare for someone to give me compliments like this. I need to quickly write it in the book to use as motivation for the road ahead. Ning felt very interested at this moment. She didn't expect her praise to be so valuable to Shun Xian. She quickly looked at the notebook to see, and surprisingly, a line of text was carefully written by Shun Xian. The eldest princess personally came to offer thanks. Although Ning was extremely moved by the precious sentiment Shun Xian had for her, truth be told, his handwriting was too ugly. It was unacceptable. Even though his handwriting was ugly, the characters were written in very straight lines. Ning herself couldn't believe that a person with such a hasty personality as this commander could write such neat and orderly characters. Suddenly, while Ning was still intently looking to see what else Shun Xian had written about her, Shun Xian abruptly tore out the page he had just written, causing Ning, who was sitting next to him, to ask in surprise. Huh, didn't you just say you would use it as motivation? Why did you tear it up before anything happened? Shun Xian crumpled the paper while happily replying. It's just because I didn't write it well, so I don't want to look at it anymore. I want to tear it up to write another page more beautifully. Isn't that okay? Besides, coincidentally, I have long heard rumors that the eldest princess is skilled in zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting. There is nothing she doesn't know. Especially her calligraphy is extremely proficient. I wonder if the princess could write a note for this commander to learn from. Ning's pride soared to the sky. She patted her chest and said proudly, "Needless to say, my handwriting is something few ordinary people in this world can possess. It is exquisitely beautiful to perfection." Shun Xian didn't say anything at that moment. He just looked at the eldest princess and silently thought, "This commander is not an ordinary person either. I am the husband of the eldest princess." After a round of mutual boasting, finally, Ning agreed to demonstrate her writing for Shun Xian to see. But it was very strange. Ning kept standing there grinding ink without writing anything, making a waiting person like Shun Xian feel impatient. After waiting a bit longer and still seeing no action from Ning, Shun Xian felt so impatient he couldn't stand it anymore. So he spoke up to ask, "What is your highness thinking about? Why haven't you written quickly yet?" Suddenly, for some reason, the more Shun Xian spoke, the closer he moved towards Ning, making her so shy that her whole face turned red. Suddenly, Ning, who was not in a very lucid state, was immediately scared out of her wits by Shun Xian's words. She quickly turned to Shun Xian and shouted loudly, "Don't speak nonsense like that anymore, okay? Otherwise, I won't write for you to reference anymore." Hearing Ning's threats, Shun Xian didn't feel very scared. He just gave a gentle smile and replied, "Your Highness, everything must have a beginning and an end, right? If your Highness came here to thank me, at least you should show some sincerity. Who makes a promise to me and then breaks it like that? Would that still be befitting of a princess?" Although Ning didn't want to give her handwriting at all, since she had promised, she had to keep her word. She let out a heavy sigh, then turned and replied, "Fine then, what do you want me to write?" "Anything is fine, whatever the eldest princess wishes," Shun Xian replied gently. "To this subject, any word is fine. As long as it is the eldest princess's writing, I find it meaningful." So, after thinking for a while, Ning started to carefully write each character to create the most perfect product for Shun Xian to learn from. Looking at the strokes Ning left on the paper, Shun Xian was truly surprised beyond imagination. He thought to himself, "Actually, I've always heard rumors that the eldest princess's handwriting is truly very beautiful. But it wasn't until today that I witnessed it with my own eyes. It is truly more beautiful than what people rumored. Every character is clean and neat. The spacing between words and lines is flawless. There really is nothing to criticize. The ancients were right when they said handwriting reveals the character. Her handwriting is as beautiful as her personality." After a while of waiting, Ning finally finished writing. Commander Shin quickly walked over and picked up the writing to examine it. He studied it for a while before asking, "How do you explain the meaning of these words?" Hearing the question, Princess Ning secretly rejoiced. She smiled and replied, "Originally, this princess wrote these words because I believe the here is not just loyalty, but righteousness. If one loves wealth and becomes unrighteous, ignoring the suffering of the people, a subject serving two masters, or marrying without fulfilling duties, all of these are considered unrighteous." Princess Ning said these words because she wanted to imply to Commander Shun that as a manager, he must manage his depot well and absolutely not let the depot commit unrighteous acts. Otherwise, it would go against common moral principles. More than anyone, perhaps Commander Shun understood Ning best. Upon hearing her explanation, he understood immediately. There was another meaning in her words. She had surely written this character to send him a message about something. "Very well then. If you wish to send me a message, I also have a question for you." Commander Shin smiled and continued, "I dare to ask your highness, how do you understand the concept of the ruler as father of the realm?" Princess Ning was quite surprised to hear this question from Commander Shun. Indeed, nothing could escape the eyes of this crafty man. Ning replied with a somewhat unhappy demeanor, "Juanfu means respecting the ruler like a father. You mean that the Son of Heaven is like a father to every person. and as a subject, one must respect the ruler. However, I believe that what is called the ruler as father of the realm means the Son of Heaven must regard the people of the world as his own father and must be filial to the people as he is to his own parents. Only then will he win the hearts of the people and be respected by everyone in the realm. Princess Ning was quite astonished herself after saying this. She couldn't believe someone like Commander Shun would have such progressive thoughts to ask this. But she didn't want to argue with him. Since their viewpoints were already different, how could they harmonize? Ning sighed and replied, "Fine, let's set this aside for now. What do you think of this writing? Does this calligraphy satisfy the commander yet?" Of course, Commander Shun was satisfied. Although there was a small debate about the meaning of the words, it couldn't be denied that Princess Ning's handwriting was beautiful, with nothing to criticize. Hearing this, Ning felt very happy. She smiled brightly and replied, "Then, since the commander has seen this rare and precious calligraphy of mine, can the commander issue an order allowing me to leave the manor? It has been a long time since this princess has seen the emperor. Truthfully, I miss my younger brother very much. I just feel that lately, the commander's temper has become much better than before, so making a request slightly above the norm shouldn't be too excessive." Before granting Princess Ning the order to leave the manor and return to the palace, Commander Shun wanted to ask her one more thing. That was about the pastries and the breakfast Ning had personally brought to his room earlier. Did she make all of those cakes herself? At this point, Ning didn't know if her exit request had been approved yet. But since that terrible food was mentioned, she had to flee immediately if she didn't want something more terrible to happen. So Ning lowered her head and replied, "I mean, if those cakes aren't tasty, Commander Shun shouldn't force himself to eat them. Don't push yourself too hard." After saying that, Ning quickly walked away before his anger could flare up. But contrary to Ning's thoughts, Commander Shun actually handed her the gold token to leave the manor and return to the palace, meaning he had agreed to let her go home to visit her brother. Looking at Princess Ning's face full of eagerness and joy, Commander Shun spoke, "Your Highness has 1 hour to return and visit your family. Additionally, Jiang Yi will accompany you to assist, so the princess can rest assured visiting her family." Hearing this, Ning was over the moon. She quickly snatched the gold token from Commander Shun's hand and then ran off in a hurry, disappearing from sight. Commander Shun chuckled to himself, thinking she really is still so childish. Just a simple thing like this makes her run and jump with joy. Thanks to Commander Shun's surprisingly quick approval, Princess Ning was finally able to enter the palace to visit her younger brother, the Emperor. However, contrary to Ning's hopes, the Emperor did not seem very happy to see her, even though Ning tried her best to entertain him. After trying for a while with no reaction from the Emperor, she sighed wearily and said, "Emperor, what is the matter with you today? Why don't you talk happily with me like usual, but just keep sighing like that? It makes a sister like me very worried." Hearing this question from Ning, the Emperor suddenly stopped sighing. He immediately turned to Ning and said, "Princess, there is something that happened a long time ago, but I still want to ask you one more time to be sure. That maid named Thursday Hong, whom the Empress Dowager bestowed upon you. Something happened to her, right?" About that poor maid? Ning replied calmly. "Actually, because the Empress Dowager feared I couldn't seduce Commander Shun alone, she sent someone to help me. But it's a pity for her. After failing to seduce Commander Shun once, she is currently locked in prison. Never mind if she is well or not. The fact that she is still alive in the Eastern Depot's dungeon is already a miracle. This only just happened 2 days ago. I intended to tell the Emperor when we met, but surprisingly, the Emperor knew this before I did. So this isn't news to you. Anyway, I shouldn't say more to avoid disturbing the Emperor's work. Originally, I wouldn't care who committed what offense against you, sister, but lately, the situation with the Empress Dowager is extremely tense. Although she was just a maid, she represented the Empress Dowager's face. Thursday Hong being thrown into prison like that is no different from a slap in the Empress Dowager's face. So she is extremely angry. I don't know what she will do in the future to vent her anger. So it's best if you are careful too, sister." Hearing this, Princess Ning found it quite amusing. She smiled and replied, "The Emperor doesn't need to worry about me. I know how to protect myself. It's best if you protect yourself. Otherwise, who knows who she will take down next. But there's one thing I've been thinking about endlessly. I really don't understand how someone as intelligent as the Empress Dowager could behave so rashly. Isn't she someone with foresight? How could she let immediate benefits blind her like that? Allowing a maid to seduce a eunuch is unacceptable. Moreover, who doesn't know that eunuchs dislike women? How could Thursday Hong possibly seduce Commander Shin? It seemed the emperor would agree with Ning's reasoning, but upon hearing this, he was suddenly surprised and said loudly, "Princess, do you not know that eunuch Shin Xian used to have a wife? Everyone in the palace knows this matter. How could you not know? My close maid told me these shocking details. Perhaps you cannot believe it, sister, but it is the truth." Hearing this, Ning's ears suddenly buzzed. What? Used to have a wife? How is that possible? Commander Shun is basically a eunuch. How could he have a wife? Perhaps you are mistaken. I have been a bride at the Easter Depot for a long time, but no one told me about Shun Xian having a wife. You must be mistaken. Ning couldn't believe her ears anymore. Her mind went blank. How could Shun Xian have had a wife? He is a eunuch. Who would agree to marry a eunuch like that, unless forced like herself? It was so confusing. Suddenly, while Ning was still trying to grasp what was happening, the fierce sound of swords clashing came from outside. Starting Ning. After composing herself to see what was happening, Ning realized that the person sword fighting with Jiang Yi at that moment was none other than her sister Yu. Immediately, she rushed like an arrow toward where Jiang Yi and sister Yu were competing intensely, looking as if they were about to kill each other. Sister Yu at this moment didn't care who was in front of her. She continued to unleash sharp blade strikes and shouted loudly, "I am Yu of the Brocade Guard, responsible for protecting the Emperor. You are from the Eastern Depot, aren't you? Why did you barge in here without anyone's permission? What are you doing here?" Jiang Yi didn't bother to explain much. He just drew the bow in his hand tight, as if the moment Sister Yu touched him, the arrow would shoot straight into her. Realizing the situation was very tense, Ning hurriedly ran over and shouted, "Sister, this is Jiang Yi, responsible for escorting me into the palace to visit the emperor. He has no bad intentions. Please absolutely do not misunderstand things like this." Hearing this, Sister Yu lowered the sword in her hand and sighed, saying, "Are all people from the Eastern Depot like this? I already introduced my name and rank in this palace. Yet the people of the Eastern Depot said nothing and just stood still, causing me to misunderstand. Is a simple greeting too difficult for you? But fine, I'm not one to hold grudges." Saying that, Sister Yu moved closer to Jiang Yi and whispered, "I have long heard that Jiang Yi is a peerless archer. I wonder if you are free someday to let me learn a few moves." Seeing Jiang Yi's face growing increasingly tense, Ning quickly pulled Sister Yu's hand and ran away fast, saying, "All right, spare him, sister. He has always been a man of few words. Don't tease him anymore, or he might go crazy later, and I won't know what to do then." "Ah, right, sister. You came at the right time. I have something I want to tell you." Then Ning dragged Sister Yu to a very deserted place. Waiting until no one was around, Ning finally spoke up, "Sister, actually that precious thing of Shun Xian's that you gave me last time, it was already eaten by a dog. Honestly, I didn't mean to, but everything happened so fast, I couldn't handle it." Hearing this, Sister Yu was so shocked, she couldn't believe her ears. She shouted loudly, "What? Eaten by a dog? Why were you so careless, princess?" Sister Yu was truly very angry, but after calming herself down for a moment, she replied calmly, "Well, if it's eaten by a dog, then it's done. Scolding the princess now won't solve anything. How about tomorrow? I go find that precious thing from some big dog, then dry it out. Surely it will look about 80% similar. Don't worry, princess." Sister Yu hurriedly replied at this moment, "Princess, you don't need to do that anymore. Just let me put it back where it was. If Shun Xian discovers his precious item has vanished, who knows how miserable our fates will be." Sister Yu felt quite frustrated as she spoke. Why return it? If it is returned, what will the princess use to threaten him? Besides, how could he distinguish between an item kept for 10 years and the dried private part of some dog? What was the princess afraid of? Princess Ning sighed and replied, "It's not that I'm afraid he'll find out, but because I don't need that leverage anymore. Sister Yu, I've only been at the Eastern Depot for a short time, but I've realized one thing. My biggest threat right now is no longer Shin Xian, so there's no need to fear him." Hearing this, Sister Yu felt a bit stunned. "Princess, what do you mean he's no longer your biggest threat? Have you actually fallen for that crazy eunuch?" Upon hearing these words from Sister Yu, Princess Ning was truly scared out of her wits. She immediately retorted, "That's not it. How could that be? How could I possibly like that crazy eunuch?" However, despite Princess Ning's vehement denial, Sister Yu still harbored significant doubts. If Princess Ning didn't like that eunuch, how could she not be on guard against him, given that he was a man of such unpredictable temperament? But be that as it may, whether she liked him or not was Princess Ning's decision. Sister, you had no right to interfere. However, Sister Yu had some newly discovered information she wanted to share with Princess Ning. She still hoped that after hearing everything, the princess would resolutely stand on the side of the Eastern Depot. If that happened, no matter what actions Princess Ning took, Sister Yu would not interfere. So the two of them moved to a more comfortable spot to talk. Once they had settled in, Sister Yu began to speak. According to the information I've gathered over time, Shunxi entered the palace to be purified at the age of 13. For the first few years, he showed nothing remarkable, but 3 years later, he was transferred to the Directorate of Ceremonial. It was then that rumors started spreading that he had married a palace maid. I wonder if you have heard anyone mention this, Princess? Shunxi stayed at the Directorate of Ceremonial for less than a year before he had to serve the late emperor on the autumn hunt outside the capital. After returning from the hunt, he was sent to the palace where Your Highness was residing that year. As for the request regarding what crime he committed that year to warrant such heavy punishment, the eunuch who presided over it died long ago, so there is no one left to verify it. However, I heard people whispering that after he returned from the autumn hunt, he seemed to become a different person. He used to be very humble, but since moving to the Eastern Depot, he took to it like a fish to water, and he changed his name to Shun Xian. From then on, within 2 years, he became a pillar of the Eastern Depot. 2 years after that, he officially took control of the Eastern Depot, to the shock and bewilderment of everyone. But the more power he held, the more arrogant and unpredictable he became. The Eastern Depot also progressed visibly. Never had the Eastern Depot reached such heights until it was solely in his hands. At this moment, Princess Ning did not care much about the Eastern Depot's prospects. What concerned her right now was that palace maid who was by Shan Xian's side back then. Where was she now, and did she still have any contact with Shan Xian? Upon receiving this query from Princess Ning, Sister Yu rested her chin on her hand in thought and said, "Since Shan Xian moved to the Eastern Depot, there haven't been any women by his side, it seems. But thinking about it, that makes sense. Shan Xian struggled so hard to climb to this position. Why would he still care about a lowly palace maid?" Hearing this, Princess Ning breathed a sigh of relief. Fine, let's consider it fortunate. Whatever his past was, this princess doesn't care as long as right now there's only this princess by his side. But immediately, this thought was questioned by Princess Ning herself to the point of madness. Wait, Ning, what does it matter to you how many people are by his side? Even if he has many people, it has nothing to do with you. Why are you worrying about it and tiring yourself out? You truly are a crazy person. Oh right, eldest princess, I have one more thing to tell your highness that I almost forgot. Sister Yu sat a bit closer to Princess Ning, as if afraid someone might overhear what she was about to say. The end of next month is the ancestral temple sacrifice. Your highness is aware of this, right? I have only one request for you. On that day, please feign illness and stay home. Absolutely do not attend that ceremony, because I know for certain that the sacrifice is actually just a trap for the Empress Dowager and the brocade guard to deal with the Eastern Depot. The reason I know this so clearly is that shouldn't such things be kept secret? Yet, earlier, the Empress Dowager summoned me inside. Then she suddenly ordered me to go to Kaifeng Prefecture to inspect, and she stated very clearly that if anything happens, I am not to leave my post. Since the Empress Dowager said that much, even a fool could vaguely guess the intention behind it. However, contrary to Sister Yu's worried expression, Princess Ning felt something was amiss. The Empress Dowager knew very well that Sister Yu was close to Princess Ning, so why would she tell Sister Yu such a critical matter? Clearly, even a fool would know that Sister Yu would definitely report this to the eldest princess. Princess Ning remained silent for a while, and finally, she figured it out. This was merely a test by the Empress Dowager. She ultimately wanted to know whether Ning was standing on the Empress Dowager's side or the Eastern Depot's side. If Shen Xian did not attend the sacrifice as planned that day, it would mean Princess Ning had passed this news to Shen Xian. Only then could the Empress Dowager determine which side Princess Ning was officially on. If she found out that Princess Ning was truly on the Eastern Depot's side, she would certainly have Ning and her loved ones executed. Truly, this was unacceptable. How could someone be so cruel? Sister Yu was feeling extremely worried for Princess Ning, because if she chose the wrong faction to follow, not only would she lose her life, but her loved ones would also be implicated. Because of this, Sister Yu hoped she would choose carefully to avoid making a mistake. At this moment, Princess Ning said nothing. She just wanted to return to her home quickly. Before leaving, she turned back and said to Sister Yu, "Since the day my mother consort passed away, I have tasted enough of this life's bitterness. I can certainly resolve this matter easily. So rest assured, sister, no need to worry about me. This matter will definitely end peacefully." So, after chatting with Sister Yu, Princess Ning quickly returned home to prepare her next contingency plans. Seeing the future scenario painted by the Empress Dowager before her eyes, she couldn't help but feel discouraged. But it didn't matter. Her life had never been smooth since she was born, so what was a little trouble like this? However, when she returned to the manor, the first person she wanted to see was Shen Xian. She didn't understand why, but her heart urged her to meet Shen Xian to tell him what she had heard. She didn't know if it would be useful, but she wanted to tell Shen Xian right now. So, after asking the servants nearby, Princess Ning determined where Shen Xian was standing. Just like that, she rushed toward his location to inform him of the recent events. But suddenly, while she was on her way to Shen Xian, Sister Yu's earlier words came rushing back, making her feel a bit shaken. Shen Xian was actually someone who had been married? She couldn't accept this. Wasn't he a eunuch? Why were there rumors now that he had married a palace maid? How could she believe it? Thus, the burning enthusiasm within her gradually depleted. By the time she got close to Shen Xian, that enthusiasm had completely extinguished, leaving not a shred of hope. But coincidentally, just as she was about to run away because her spirit had cooled, Shen Xian saw her. Needless to say, Princess Ning was incredibly panicked. Since the courage in her heart had shriveled, she only wanted to go back to her room. And yet, Shen Xian had to see her face right here. What terrible luck. So Princess Ning ran headlong back to her room. As she ran, she thought to herself, "I was already feeling shy thinking about the fact that he was once married, losing much of my spirit. And then I had to be seen by him, too. Even my grandfather would have to run fast, let alone me." But fortunately for Princess Ning, by the time she ran back to her room, Shen Xian had not yet caught up, so she was temporarily safe. However, the servants who saw the madam suddenly rush into the room like that naturally felt very worried. What could have happened to make the madam so hurried? Since the madam arrived here, they had never seen her like this. They waited a while longer, but the princess showed no sign of coming out. So the servants approached and asked, "Madam, what is wrong? Why did you return immediately after just going out? Is madam feeling cold? Shall we add more hot charcoal for you to warm up?" But of course, how could Princess Ning be calm enough to think about whether she was hot or cold right now? The only thing existing in her mind now was how to escape from Shen Xian. He might be right behind her. Ignoring the servants knocking outside, Princess Ning had no mind for anything else. She just continuously shouted loudly, "I don't need anything. I just want to be alone. Everyone leave quickly. I don't need anyone." After Princess Ning shouted for a while, the atmosphere became much quieter. It seemed the servants had obeyed and dispersed. But suddenly, a loud banging on the door was heard, making her startle and reply, "I said everyone leave. When I need you, I will call." However, contrary to Princess Ning's thoughts, the person knocking outside was none other than Shen Xian. Just the 3 words, "It is I," were enough to make Princess Ning tremble all over. How could she escape his pursuit now? Princess Ning didn't know what to do. She could only pace back and forth in the room to calm her shaking. Then she spoke up, feigning an excuse. "Is it Commander Shin? What do you need from me? I am very busy right now, so please return tomorrow, Commander." But of course, for someone with a decisive character like Shen Xian, if he wanted to do something, only heaven could stop him. So, without waiting for Princess Ning to open the door, he immediately pushed it open and entered, to her astonishment. Princess Ning couldn't believe her eyes. "Oh my God, this rude person. How could you barge into my room without my permission? Truly unbelievable." However, in response to Princess Ning's anger, Commander Shin only calmly replied, "The rooms in this east wing are all registered under this commander's name. Whichever room this commander enters belongs to this commander. I'm entering my own room, not barging in, so you need not be so panicked." Princess Ning at this moment did not seem to agree with Commander Shin's aggressive attitude. She continued to shout, "Then what if you suddenly barge in while I am changing clothes? What should be done then?" Commander Shin still appeared completely normal. He looked at her with a calm gaze and said, That would be even more normal. We are husband and wife after all. Are you still shy about such things? Princess Ning was completely out of arguments. She could only sit there and listen to Commander Shin preach about what just happened. Commander Shin cleared his throat seriously and replied, Princess, why did you come to the drill ground to find me earlier but then turned around and ran away? Is there a problem, Princess? Who told you that this princess was looking for you? I was just passing by, so I bumped into you. There is no way I was looking for you. That is truly absurd. Although Commander Shun did not find this very logical, he accepted it. Fine, if you weren't looking for me, then consider it my misunderstanding. But Princess, why did you get angry with this commander? I didn't do anything to you. Although she was very annoyed with Commander Shin barging into her room, saying it out loud wouldn't solve anything. She turned her face away and replied, I am not. I have never been angry or petty about anything before. But of course, how could Commander Shin believe Princess Ning so easily? You are lying. With that sulky attitude of yours just now, I know you are very angry with me. If something is wrong, just tell me straight. Fine then. Originally, Princess Ning didn't want to get angry at this guy, but if he insists, she will oblige. So Princess Ning cleared her throat and began to speak loudly. This morning, Commander Shin spoke to this princess about the sovereign father of the world. Is it not treating the common people like parents and caring for the army and people like showing filial piety to parents? At that time, this princess remained silent, but now I cannot bear it anymore and must speak up. What you said this morning was completely wrong. This princess cannot accept it. So Princess Ning put forth a series of opinions to refute Commander Shun's views, leaving him stunned and unsure how to respond properly. However, despite speaking so forcefully, after unloading a barrage of words on Commander Shun, Princess Ning suddenly burst into tears, perhaps feeling that she was wrongly taking her anger out on him. But at this moment, her heart felt strange, as if there was an empty space inside. Commander Shun, despite being lectured by Princess Ning like that, did not feel angry at all. He only gently stepped forward, wiped away the tears on her face, and replied, Your status and mine are not the same, so a difference in knowledge is inevitable. If I am wrong, then I am wrong. Why must you cry? Don't cry anymore. I don't want to see you in this state at all. Princess Ning, being comforted by Commander Shun, did not feel relieved in the slightest. On the contrary, she felt a bit uncomfortable in her heart. After all, if he treated her harshly or violently, she would feel more at ease. But for him to treat her so kindly like this really made her feel restless inside. Suddenly, Princess Ning felt a bit better, but she still couldn't stop crying. Perhaps she had cried too loudly earlier, so now she was overwhelmed and couldn't stop. Commander Shun saw that Princess Ning wouldn't stop crying, so he thought she was still aggrieved about something. Thus, he immediately pulled her up and said, All right, stop crying. Let's go out for a trip. Hearing this, Princess Ning suddenly fell silent. She hadn't stopped crying yet, but now she had to switch to another emotion, confusion. Wait, where are we going? Why is he suddenly saying I'm going out with him? And to where? Princess Ning couldn't hide the confusion on her face. She repeatedly shouted, Commander Shun, where are we going? We're very peaceful in the manor. Why must we go out? But ignoring Princess Ning's bewildered cries, Commander Shin insisted on dragging her along without explaining anything. After a rather long journey, Commander Shin finally ordered her to get off the carriage. It turned out Commander Shun wanted to take her to the market to buy things, yet he didn't tell her clearly from the start, keeping it a secret. He really knows how to give people a heart attack. Ignoring Princess Ning's somewhat dazed face, Commander Shin continued, All right, I saw the princess was so bored staying at home, which solves nothing, so I brought the princess here. Today, as long as the princess is no longer sad, whatever the princess wants to buy, I will agree to it all. So, regardless of whether Princess Ning liked it or not, Commander Shin marched into the most bustling women's shop in the market and shouted loudly, Bring out the most precious treasures of your shop. This commander will close the deal on them. Also, bring out any of the most fashionable and best silk you have for my wife to choose from. It must be the best. Princess Ning stood frozen, not knowing what to do. What is wrong with this guy? Is there something wrong with his brain? Have I ever said I liked such luxurious things? Why suddenly bring me to the market and talk crazy nonsense? Although Princess Ning was very confused, she calmly tried to stop Commander Shun. Commander Shun, why are you buying those things? I said I really don't need them. When did I ever say I like things like this? I really don't need to use them. You don't need these things? Then what exactly do you need? Basically, doesn't every girl like silks and beautiful jewelry? You're the first one I've seen who doesn't like such things. So if you don't like these, what do you like? Receiving this question, Princess Ning really didn't know what she liked either. She didn't know what to say to satisfy Commander Shun, so he wouldn't spend money on her. She really didn't want him wasting money on her. Then, it seemed heaven heard her inner voice. The first snow of the season fell at that exact moment, looking truly beautiful. Upon seeing the first snowflakes fall, she knew in her heart what she liked most right then. I like these snowflakes. Princess incite loudly. I like watching the first snowflakes fall like this. Even if it's cold, I still like it. Watching snowflakes fall like this truly makes me feel very peaceful. Hearing this, Commander Shin also stepped closer to stand beside Princess Ning to watch the first snowfall. The scene of the two standing together was truly very romantic. But suddenly, Princess Ning looked to the side and saw that she seemed to be standing too close to Commander Shun. Immediately after, she walked away with a blushing face, thinking to herself, next time I must not do that. I cannot stand too close to him. It will be very dangerous for me. I absolutely must not stand so close. Commander Shin didn't understand what happened. Why did Princess Ning leave when they were happily watching the snow together? He didn't understand what was going on. So he quickly chased after her, caught Princess Ning, and pressed her firmly against the wall. It seemed like Commander Shun did this out of spontaneity, but that was not the case. While pressing Princess Ning against the wall, Commander Shun whispered to her, "Behind a roof of my back, there is someone trying to assassinate me. If we move, we will immediately become his targets." Hearing Commander Shun say this, Princess Ning's hands suddenly went cold. She didn't understand why there were so many people trying to assassinate Commander Shin. Every few days, there was an assassination attempt. It was truly incomprehensible. But what do we do now? We just need to run very fast and not let him have time to act, right? Princess Ning replied. But contrary to her thoughts, Commander Shun spoke up. If you want to become his bait, go ahead. But since we are together, I cannot let you be implicated because of me. All right, I have a plan to escape, but I need your help. Do you agree? Honestly, at this moment, Princess Ning didn't understand how she could help Commander Shun. She couldn't even protect her own life. But Commander Shin seemed not to care whether she agreed to help or not. He just coldly continued. This is a high chance of success, but is a bit offensive to the princess. Please bear with it, princess. Then, without another word, Commander Shin gave Princess Ning a passionate kiss. This was probably the offensive act he had warned her about. Truly, nothing could be predicted. Actually, Princess Ning herself could not have imagined that Commander Shun would dare to do such a thing. How could he kiss her in broad daylight like this? But for some reason, initially Princess Ning resisted a little, but then she didn't anymore. Whether she was afraid that moving would let the assassin see her, or she was gradually accepting Commander Shin's action, was unknown. The assassin at this moment seemed unable to wait any longer. He was probably cursing silently. Failing the mission was one thing, but having to eat dog food as well? Truly inconsiderate people. Finally, the dam burst. He fired a volley of arrows toward Commander Shun. But luckily, Commander Shun had quickly held Princess Ning tight in his arms to escape elsewhere. Wherever Commander Shun ran, the arrows followed. Indeed, these assassins were all cold-blooded killers. Lien Huan was eating a steamed bun deliciously when he suddenly saw a barrage of arrows flying over. He immediately recognized the anomaly. He jumped onto the roof while shouting, "Bastards attacking Commander Shin, truly having gall bigger than the sky, daring to disturb my meal of steamed buns." The moment Lien Huan rushed in, other guards of the Eastern Depot also arrived. Seeing their faces, the assassins knew they couldn't resist. And so, of the 36 stratagems, fleeing is the best. If you can't destroy the enemy, just hide, otherwise, you'll lose your life. Seeing the assassins flee, how could the people of the Eastern Depot let them go so easily? Lien Huan saw the assassin running faster and faster, so he immediately shouted, "Brother Jiang, shoot him, hurry up, don't kill him. We only need to capture him for interrogation." Seeing Brother Jiang raise his bow and arrow, Princess Ning truly couldn't understand. Clearly, a normal person's bow could only shoot up to 60 zhang at most. The assassin had run nearly 70 zhang already. How could he be hit? Moreover, the requirement was to only wound, not kill him. Truly, only a deity could do it. Contrary to Princess Ning's worry, Commander Shun just gently said loudly, "There is currently a northwest wind. You just need to pay attention to the wind speed. No need to be too tense." Brother Jiang said nothing at this moment. He just silently gauged the wind's speed to deliver the decisive strike. Looking at how he gauged the speed, Princess Ning dared not be certain whether he would hit the target or not. And then, after a moment of Brother Jiang gauging the wind speed, he resolved to deliver the decisive strike. And surprisingly, that single arrow of his actually hit the assassin. It seemed the arrow lodged quite deep, for he screamed in extreme pain. Even Princess Ning in the distance could still hear it. Princess Ning at this moment seemed unable to believe her eyes anymore. What on earth? Even that could hit? Are these people at the Eastern Depot normal humans? What I feel like the people here are just like monsters. After receiving information that the assassin had been dealt with, Commander Shun then turned to Princess Ning, who was standing bewildered beside him, and spoke up. Are you all right? Surely what happened just now frightened you. Princess Ning at this moment didn't understand what Commander Shun meant. Had he perhaps forgotten all the things he had just done with her? Princess Ning, on the contrary, could not appear as calm as Commander Shun. Whenever she looked at this guy's face, she couldn't avoid feeling shy. Furthermore, seeing that nonchalant face of Commander Shun, Princess Ning could not stop scolding him silently in her heart. He did that shameful thing just now. Yet now he is as calm as this. Truly impressive, as if nothing had ever happened. Princess Ning, although feeling extremely annoyed by this feigned ignorance of Commander Shun, knew there was nothing she could do. Getting angry now would be meaningless. Commander Shin still had someone more important to deal with right now, which was that assassin who had just tried to assassinate both of them. At this moment, Princess Ning suppressed her feelings and said gently, I am fine. You go catch that assassin quickly. But naturally, Commander Shin still remembered the incident just now. How could he forget so quickly? And then he raised his hand to his lips and replied, Does the princess still remember the feeling just now? Are you very flustered about this matter? But before Princess Ning could react to the words Commander Shun was saying, Lien Huan, for some unknown reason, ran over very quickly and shouted loudly, Commander Shun, the assassin has been caught. He is still alive. Should we take him back to the manor for interrogation, or shall we interrogate him directly right here? Princess Ning and Commander Shin were about to exchange extremely sweet gestures when suddenly they were disturbed by this guy. At the very moment Lien Huan called out loudly, Princess Ning's face also turned red from shyness. So, although not very willing, the two had to separate. Interrogating the criminal was still more important than anything else. So Commander Shin cleared his throat loudly and replied, Interrogate him right here. Make him immediately reveal the person behind this. No need to take him back to the manor. It will cause more trouble. But before going to interrogate this assassin, Commander Shin still needed to carefully instruct Princess Ning. The upcoming interrogation might frighten your highness, so please get into the carriage and rest for a while. When it is done, I will immediately join you in the carriage. Princess Ning, hearing this, immediately got into the carriage to wait. In reality, she herself did not like to witness such bloody scenes. Thus, the interrogation of the assassin who did not respect his own life immediately took place. Commander Shin personally interrogated him. But it seemed this guy was also extremely stubborn. Despite harsh words, this guy still refused to confess anything. It seemed his loyalty to his leader was quite great. But naturally, did he think refusing to confess would be that easy? If he wouldn't listen to words, then stronger violent actions would be used against him. Commander Shun gave the order very gently. Right now, he won't confess, probably because we are too gentle with him. You guys pull out his teeth. Let's see then if he confesses or not. Princess Ning, sitting in the carriage at this moment, could not avoid being bewildered. What is this? The person who just had those sweet lips, who just gave me that kiss. Why can he change 180 degrees like this now? He just treated me so gently. How can he now appear so extremely ferocious? Truly a human with an extraordinary ability to change personality. So after a while of waiting, Commander Shun returned to the horse carriage. Upon seeing Commander Shun, Princess Ning immediately responded, Did that assassin confess? Who was behind instigating him to do something like this? But suddenly, after asking this question, Princess Ning felt that her asking was not quite appropriate. So she immediately added, I just asked casually like that. If Commander Shun does not like it, then you do not need to tell me. Contrary to Princess Ning's timidity, Commander Shin quickly appeared surprised and replied, He has confessed everything. Is there anything I cannot tell you? After all, you're a family member of the Eastern Depot. How could I not tell you? It is the Vice Minister of War, Typhon. These past few days, the Eastern Depot has been investigating loopholes regarding his embezzlement of military funds and even selling military weapons. Therefore, he suddenly got startled and wanted to kill to silence us. But he is still too green. With a tiny assassin like that, how could he deceive the troops of the Eastern Depot? Princess Ning, after receiving the answer to her question, was still not quite satisfied. She immediately continued, "All right, but why did you choose to do that action earlier? I truly feel extremely curious." At first, Commander Shin still appeared quite innocent, acting as if he didn't remember the things that had just happened. But naturally, how could he avoid Princess Ning's suspicious gaze? Although he didn't want to, Commander Shin still had to speak his true feelings. Didn't this commander say it very clearly? I did that to make the assassins think I was lowering my guard. Only when I relax my vigilance like that would the assassins not be on guard and attack me. Only then could I easily catch the whole lot of them. However, Princess Ning did not quite agree with this answer. Incorrect. Besides this method, you could still have chosen many other methods. Why did you have to choose to do that action with me, making it so difficult? You could have quickly run to another place to divert attention. Why did you have to do that action? Knowing that his lie had been discovered by Princess Ning, Commander Shun could only smile shyly and quietly continued. Correct. It is true that I had many other ways, but I still chose the way I just did simply because I really like doing that. Hearing this, Princess Ning could not believe her ears anymore. Speaking like that, what is the meaning? Why did you have many ways to do it, but still chose the way just now? What exactly is the reason? Commander Shun heard Princess Ning's series of questioning inquiries, but he didn't pay much mind. He just flashed a very gentle and soft smile towards her. But perhaps he didn't know that this action of his had truly provoked Princess Ning. She couldn't endure it anymore and spoke loudly. Commander Shun, doing such a thing and still being able to be so calm, that's truly impressive. You showing such an attitude means you are provoking this princess. Is that right? Commander Shun at this moment finally wiped the smile off his face, then replied, "Just now, due to the urgent situation, I was forced to do so. Otherwise, I would not have chosen that way either." Eldest princess, you are overthinking it. On the outside, Commander Shun was trying to appear extremely calm at this moment. But how could Princess Ning know that inside him, he was trembling constantly at this moment? Never before had he felt himself tremble like this standing before girl. Princess Ning, facing this nonchalant attitude of Commander Shun, was very angry. She screamed out loud, "Commander Shun, after all, you are a married man, yet doing such intimate actions with this princess is truly not very proper." At this moment, after saying everything in an extremely aggressive tone, Princess Ning finally felt regret. She thought to herself, "Oh heavens, how could I say such things? Isn't this clearly me being jealous of him? What right do I have to be jealous of him?" And then, at this moment, Commander Shun truly laughed aloud. He nodded and said, "Sure enough, that is the reason that made you angry with me all day today. Just because a matter as small as a rabbit, you could change your attitude toward me so quickly." But Princess Ning had no way of retreat anymore. She could only speak gently. This princess is not a petty person. Whether you have a wife or not is not related to me at all. Why would I be angry? Besides, I have never been angry with anyone before. Why would just a few gestures of yours make me angry? Truly, I do not pay much attention to your affairs. Truly, not a bit of attention. However, with that appearance like a kitten of Princess Ning, how could Commander Shin not recognize it? Seeing that sulky appearance of Princess Ning, Commander Shin truly felt it was very amusing. But sooner or later, he had to explain. He couldn't let Princess Ning misunderstand forever like this. I may say this, and perhaps you won't believe it, but from the past until now, I have never had a wife. I affirm that you are my first and only wife. Besides you, I do not have anyone else. You are lying. If you truly never had a wife, then why did someone witness with their own eyes you flirting with a palace made at the court of imperial sacrifices? Moreover, that day meeting at the training grounds, this princess clearly saw you talking with a palace maid. Your gestures were also very sweet. How could this matter be incorrect? Commander Shun, being accused by Princess Ning like that, was not angry in the slightest. He just gently replied. Then may this commander ask the eldest princess at that time, "Did you see the appearance of that palace maid? That person's appearance?" Actually, at that time there were too many trees, so I was accidentally blocked by them. I could not see it. Originally, Princess Ning had never cared about the appearance of that palace maid. But when Commander Shin asked her like that, she suddenly realized that if she thought carefully, the figure of that palace maid was quite familiar, as if she had met her somewhere before. Commander Shun, seeing his wife sitting deep in thought like that, guessed for sure that Princess Ning had also realized something was not right. He smiled and began to continue. I do not know from whom your highness heard those rumors, but the palace maid you saw that day is truly not my wife. She is actually this commander's scout. Because she had news to report to me that day, she arranged to meet me privately. A scout. Oh heavens! Princess Ning at this moment truly could not believe her ears anymore. Why could she be jealous in such a nonsensical way? That palace maid was clearly a scout, yet she suspected her. Moreover, suspecting the person beside her as well. Truly extremely humiliating. At this moment, Princess Ning felt truly ashamed. She didn't know where to hide her face. But Commander Shin not only did not tease her, but on the contrary, he comforted her a lot. You are a dignified princess. After all, no matter what you misunderstand, no one dares to mock your highness. Not even I myself. But how could Princess Ning trust Commander Shin so easily? Looking at his face, it was impossible to trust. But at this moment, Princess Ning was still trying to defend herself. I don't feel embarrassed because I misunderstood you, but because I feel angry at myself for saying those words in a fit of excessive anger. But it's fine. Earlier you acted flippantly towards me. Now I treat you like this, isn't it even? Let's consider this matter wiped clean. However, Commander Shun did not think it was that simple. He smiled, looking straight at Princess Ning, and began to speak. Does your highness mean that in the future, if you make another mistake, I can use those flippant actions to compensate? Is that correct? After saying this, seeing Ning not answer, he became even more smug. Looking at Princess Ning's bewildered appearance, Commander Shin smiled slightly and continued. All right, this governor will remember this well. If the eldest princess makes such a mistake again next time, this governor will certainly do exactly as the eldest princess has instructed. Please rest assured. Although Ning was misunderstood, she didn't know what to do, only telling herself, if there's a next time, I must think carefully before doing anything, especially matters involving emotions. Otherwise, not just this time, but next time I will lose even more face. Seeing that surprised look on Princess Ning's face, Commander Shun felt truly happy in his heart. Even though Princess Ning didn't say anything to him on the outside, hearing that he had a wife immediately made her angry. Didn't this mean she had some feelings for him? The most miserable person right now must be Princess Ning. After that meeting with Commander Shun, she returned to her room and couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned until her eyes had dark circles like a panda, yet she still couldn't close her eyes. Because every time she closed her eyes to sleep, she dreamed of Commander Shun. He appeared in her dreams just like a nightmare. The more she tried to sleep, the more she dreamt of him. It was truly torture. Because of the insomnia last night, naturally, Princess Ning couldn't wake up early this morning. When she tried her best to wake up, it was already 10 o'clock, past the time for breakfast. Realizing she was late for breakfast with Commander Shun, she was truly panicked. Although she had previously boldly declared to Commander Shun that she would eat 3 meals a day with him, today she was late. Commander Shun must be very angry with her now. However, completely contrary to Princess Ning's thoughts, Commander Shun was not angry with her at all. Moreover, he instructed the maid beside Princess Ning, today is snowing, so it might be colder than usual. Let the princess rest a bit longer. When she wakes up, she can have her meal on her own. Princess Ning was quite surprised by Commander Shin's attitude. He had always been a man of strict principles. Usually, he wouldn't spare anyone who was even a minute late. Yet today, he forgave her so easily. It was truly unbelievable. But matters didn't seem to end there. Through the maid, Princess Ning learned another shocking piece of news. Commander Shin was paying special attention to the princess today. He had sent people to bring 2 chests of jewelry and high-quality silk to her room. All were precious and extremely exquisite items. Hearing this, Princess Ning suddenly shuddered. Even her maid felt something was off. Why was he suddenly so good to her? But Princess Ning didn't know what to do at this moment. Continuing to tremble and worry was not the way. She dusted off her hands and told herself, he can't have any designs on me. Just yesterday, he spoke only teasing words. How could he be moved so quickly? Besides, I haven't done anything wrong to him. Why should I feel afraid? He sent gifts today just to thank me for supporting him yesterday, nothing more. Although she was still suspicious of Commander Shun's Bodhisattva-like generosity, sooner or later, Princess Ning had to personally see what gifts he sent and how precious they were. So, after a moment of thought, Princess Ning decided to open the chest to take a look. Immediately, she was blinded by the sparkle of the contents. Inside were extremely high-grade gold, silver, and jewels. Even though she was the eldest princess since childhood, she had never seen so many treasures. Looking at the items still shining in that chest, Princess Ning thought to herself, such extravagance could only be seen in Bishao Palace during its most glorious years. Otherwise, I have never seen so many precious jewels. Looking closely at each jewel Commander Shun had carefully stored in the chest, Princess Ning picked them up one by one and thought, these are the things Commander Shun bought for me while in a fit of pique. More than half of this was bought out of agitation. He was just going with the flow. In any aspect, he is not inferior to the Empress Dowager's brocade guards. The more Princess Ning thought about it, the more smug she felt. Right, I have such an excellent chess piece in my hand, yet I didn't know how to use it. He is just like a sharp blade. As long as I find a way to use him well, I won't fear not being able to overthrow the Empress Dowager. With Commander Shin's help, I will definitely be able to help the Shao family overcome their difficulties. But of course, the people standing behind this assassin are countless. If Commander Shun just stands here and reveals the whole truth, wouldn't he be pushing himself towards destruction? Then an official in the crowd spoke up loudly. The assassin was caught by Commander Shun yesterday, but only brought here today for questioning. A gap of a whole day. It's hard not to be suspicious. In my opinion, this assassin's testimony is a result of Commander Shun's beatings. I hope His Majesty and the Empress Dowager will examine this clearly. Hearing the official running his mouth like that, Commander Shun truly couldn't stand it. But what could be done? To make people believe his words, there must be evidence. And the evidence Commander Shun presented was this. It is not as this official has accused. In truth, when first captured, this assassin was extremely stubborn and refused to say anything. But later, I had to invite his family to the mansion. Only then did he open his mouth and tell me everything. There was absolutely no torture to force a false confession. Because inviting all of this assassin's family members took some time, it caused such a delay. Otherwise, there was nothing unusual. At this moment, Commander Shun conveniently delivered a critical kick to the assassin's back, making him unable to bear it and collapse face down on the ground, then shouting loudly, "Lord Tai, please save me. Lord Tai, please help me. Otherwise, I will lose my life." Immediately, the official who was just named knelt down and begged, crying injustice, claiming he did not do these things and that the assassin was framing him. But how could Commander Shun believe him? He had long suspected this corrupt official who abused his power. He suspected him because, since last month, martial arts experts had continuously infiltrated the capital. But after these people entered the capital, they were not seen returning, as if they had completely vanished. Indeed, this power-abusing official had recruited them. At the same time, Commander Shun presented what he had investigated over the past period to the Empress Dowager. Holding the evidence in hand, the Empress Dowager grumpily continued. According to the investigation by the Eastern Depot supervisor here, he discovered that these martial arts experts were all arranged to stay in a desolate villa in the west of the city. And even more coincidentally, the owner of this villa is the Vice Minister of War, Lord Tai. How can there be such a perfect coincidence in this world? Standing beside Commander Shun, Lien Huan couldn't help but reply confidently, "If His Majesty and the Empress Dowager do not believe it, you can send someone to investigate. You will certainly discover something unusual. Our Eastern Depot has always worked extremely carefully. There has never been a mistake." The Emperor didn't know what to do at this moment. Usually, he was just a puppet emperor. Everything was arranged by the Empress Dowager. But now, in front of so many people, he had to make a decision immediately, or else everyone present would be suspicious. But whatever decision he made, he had to ask for the Empress Dowager's opinion first. After thinking for a while, she replied to the Emperor, "Put all these death row prisoners in jail first. Wait until after autumn, and we will personally deal with these treasonous assassins." At this time, despite the assassins and the ringleader being dragged to jail, Commander Shun did not stop there. He still wanted the Empress Dowager to allow him to do one more thing. That was regarding the wandering martial artists that Tai Fong had bribed. All were experts, so they must have received at least hundreds of taels of gold, plus the accommodation and travel expenses for these assassins. If listed in detail, the cost is not small. But there is one thing I have always wondered about. Vice Minister of War Tai Fong alone does not have a large salary. How could he have enough silver to pay for all these assassins? Therefore, I conveniently investigated all of Tai Fong's income and expenses. Although I didn't want to, I discovered that he colluded with the prefect of Shuzhou to trade weapons, then appropriated military funds for himself. He earned every copper coin through violence upon the blood and sweat of the people. Hearing this, the emperor could no longer endure it. He shouted loudly, "What? He dared to do such a thing? Truly rebellious and immoral." However, even though the emperor was tense, he couldn't just believe Commander Shun's empty words. To say anything, there must be evidence to convince people. And naturally, Commander Shun had always been famous for being extremely careful. How could he speak without evidence in hand? So, with eyes that couldn't be more confident, he spoke. "The prefect of Shuzhou has long been captured by this governor. Only the side of the Ministry of War remains. If His Majesty permits, I only need to check the books once, and the whole truth will gradually be revealed." The emperor did not need to ask for the Empress Dowager's opinion this time. Perhaps anger had invaded his entire body, so he couldn't control his emotions. Looking at Commander Shun with an extremely determined gaze, the emperor replied, "All right, I approve the memorial. You may check the missing books. If you discover anything, report to me immediately. Do you understand?" The Empress Dowager spoke up to stop it, but not as harshly as previous times. Because more than anyone, she knew clearly that once the emperor's golden words were spoken, they could not be taken back. There was only one thing that made her feel extremely uncomfortable. This fellow Shun investigated so well. All the secrets that official Tai had been hiding for so long were uncovered by him in a short amount of time. The crimes he investigated were all serious offenses. If judged strictly, they would lead to the execution of 9 generations of the family. The Empress Dowager could not believe it at this moment. She had only gifted him a few assassination attempts, yet he had returned so much more to her. It was truly impossible to underestimate this man. Thus, after finishing everything at court, Commander Shun officially returned to his manor. Just as he stepped down from the carriage, Shun Xian was informed by a servant that Princess Ning had been waiting for him for a very long time. They did not know what the matter was, but the princess was simply standing there waiting. So, he quickly went inside to see what exactly Princess Ning was waiting for him for. However, contrary to his hurried thoughts, Princess Ning was very relaxed at this moment. Watching the snow, she looked truly peaceful. Seeing her relax like that, she looked no different from a cute little rabbit. But when Princess Ning saw that Shun Xian had returned, she immediately turned to him and said loudly, "Shun Xian, I've thought it through carefully. Let's form an alliance." Truly, seeing this respectful action from Princess Ning, Commander Shun was truly a bit unaccustomed to it. Usually, in the past, it was subordinates bowing their heads before Shun Xian, or the 100 officials performing ceremonies for him, or even more familiarly, opponents submitting before Shun Xian's sword point. But no matter how many people bowed before him, no matter how hard he tried, in the eyes of the royals, he was merely a dog slave wearing human skin, worthy of no respect whatsoever. All those people were very afraid of Shun Xian, but did not respect him at all, because they bowed to him only out of obligation, completely without a shred of reverence. So, seeing this sincere bow from Princess Ning, he was truly very moved. It was a bit hard to believe, but Princess Ning was the very first person to bow to him so respectfully. This bow came from the bottom of her sincere heart, not from anyone else. Seeing Princess Ning bowing incessantly like that, Shun Xian himself felt incredibly bitter. He immediately bowed down before her and said, "Princess, you are the dignified eldest princess. How can you bow to me like this?" This does not accord with proper etiquette. Hearing Shun Xian speak like this, Princess Ning felt incredibly confused. With a face that could not be more pitiful, she looked at him and replied, "If I do not perform a respectful ceremony to you like this, I truly have no other way to express my sincere respect. I truly hope you can help me. What happened to make the princess want to express so much respect to me? Does your highness intend to keep this posture while talking to me?" All right then, stand up straight. Consider it as if we didn't have the husband and wife bow at the beginning of our marriage. Now you have made up for all the rights. There is no need to bow to me like that anymore. After that, Shun Xin quickly pulled Princess Ning along. As he pulled her, Shun Xin said loudly, "All right, come with me. If you want to talk, let's go back to the room and talk. Talking here is not very convenient." So Princess Ning followed Shun Xin back to the room. After both had settled everything, Shun Xin finally began to speak. "Your Highness, if you have something to say, just say it. Don't be shy. If I form an alliance with you, what benefits will I receive?" Princess Ning took a deep breath to calm herself, then replied, "You allying with me has many benefits, even more than you are imagining. First, power in the court is now divided equally between you and the Empress Dowager, half for each, correct? But the ancients had a saying, one mountain cannot contain two tigers, one country cannot have two kings. So sooner or later,